Hello, listening people.
Hello,
I'm Ryan,
I'm Bartek.
and you're listening to Spit and Polish presents Unappreciated Masterpieces, where Spit and Polish, likingly because we're always spitting, and of course we are both Polish. And Bartek, what is the job here that we do on Unappreciated Masterpieces? What is it that we do?
Well, we don't get paid, so it's more like volunteer work, am I right? We watch unappreciated masterpieces, the movies that no one really talks about these days, and those movies that, nobody really gave credit to. We watch them, we tell you about them.
If only we could talk to the films themselves.
That's a good one.
Yep.
10 out of 10. And we commentate on them on this show when we tell you to, and you can watch it alongside us and you can get our commentary because it's really important. We're very important people.
Yes, and of course we are joined with a guest this episode, as per usual, and, except for the Christmas episode where it was just Bartek and I. And who's our guest, Bartek?
Our guest is one of my best friends in the whole wide Melbourne, Rhys Mckenzie.
Oh, thanks a lot, Bartek. Dzień dobry, viewers. How are we today?
Yeah,
Yes.
see, he tried to speak Polish.
And I
But he's not-
I butchered
he's-
it so badly.
He is not Polish.
Yes,
Now, Rhys is in a band.
Yes.
Is it a Polish band?
It is not a Polish band, but it is a band. I can clarify that.
Well, that is what the critics will say in the future, that it is sure a
hope
band.
so.
So when Vintage Ruin rocks the stage in, what's a big country?
Poland.
Africa. Africa's not a continent. Africa's a country. I know that for sure.
Okay, Chad.
Okay, when Vintage Ruin rocks the world in Chad, know that Rhys was on this show first.
Look,
Yeah, well,
I'm not saying in the future that there will be a predecessor to us that will be called like Unappreciated Masterpieces Music Edition, and Rhys's band will be on there.
it'd be like Rotten Tomatoes venturing in the TV world.
Yeah, exactly. So, who knows? And Bartek, what is the unappreciated masterpiece we are going to be doing today?
The movie we are watching today, which is an unappreciated masterpiece, as you just said, is Move Me Dave.
I don't know what that is, but it sounds great. Like, I don't speak Polish. Rhys, in case you didn't know, I do not speak Polish, so...
Oh,
yeah, I don't know what
So-
Bartek just said.
Bartek would teach you Polish as much as he teaches me.
Yeah,
Okay.
except for I know how to pronounce my own last name, so I've got more Polish experiences than you do. Sure, why not?
Oh, fair enough.
So, what is that movie?
My friend Ryan Sliwinski is Meet Dave.
Oh, yes, Meet Dave.
Meet
the
Dave.
2008 classic Eddie Murphy film, Meet Dave. And also, this is our first episode in the new year of 2016, which means that Meet Dave is 8 years old.
Oh, happy
He
birthday,
is
Dave.
8 years. Dave Ming Cheng is 8 years old, and I can't get over it because I have vivid memories of when it came out. I never saw it at the theaters. You guys, did you see it at theaters?
No, but
No.
I watched it when it premiered on Showtime on Foxtel. That's what it used to be.
I'm
called.
not sure I've actually heard of it since you brought it up.
Really?
Yeah, I was surprised when I found out it was in 2008, which I think is our latest year of movies.
This
yeah.
is the most recent of movies, and God
Hey,
grief,
the
is it a
most
good one.
recent.
Oh, I see what you did there. That was very nice.
yep.
So
It
the
was
last
on purpose.
the last episode was our. Oh no, I'm sorry. Surf Ninjas was the earliest.
Yeah, Surf Ninjas, 1993. This, 2008. We are going wild. Now, Eddie Murphy is one of those great comedic actors, and this is a film that really highlights the great comedic chops of Eddie Murphy. And I'm very proud that there is an Eddie Murphy movie. Some might argue a plethora of movies of his that could be on this show, but I am so glad that we are doing this one first. Now, originally, when Rhys was going to come on this show, like, Bartek was like, oh, can we please have Rhys on? We really want to do Norbit. Now, now, Rhys, I know you're going to be shocked. Norbit is not a good movie. But why I will say now is, I personally, at this moment in time, don't think we'll ever do Norbit because it is appreciated in its terrible nature.
Yes.
Such as the fact is, I don't know if you know this, Bartek,
I
but
haven't seen it.
the phrase Norbit...
What?
What? Yeah, have you not seen Norbit? It's got Terry Crews in it and everything. And it's got everyone. And I do believe Eddie Murphy and the director of Meet Dave are
That is correct.
the same people who work together on Norbit.
Well, the deal was because Norbit was commercially successful, they had to make another film together because, well, they were such a good duo.
Yeah, I agree.
But the problem was, unfortunately, Dave performed under.
Yep, and I'm so happy that it did, because we get to talk about it today.
Yes.
Now, Norbit will never be on this show. It is unappreciated. What I was going to say is, Norbit is actually a phrase now. When an actor does a Norbit, which is Eddie Murphy. No, that's true. Eddie Murphy was up for an Oscar. He was Oscar nominated for his role in Dreamgirls.
Yes.
And according to, the great sources, is he didn't get that Oscar nominated he didn't win because he then released Norbit, and that made his popularity and his genuine acting nature just overshadowed, and people were just like, nah, Eddie Murphy is still terrible, hence he Norbited himself. He did a Norbit. He lost out on an Oscar because he did such a woeful job next to. People worried that Eddie Redmayne was going to Norbit himself with Jupiter Ascending because he was up for the Theory of Everything, but then the next one was Jupiter Ascending, which just shows the opposite of what a great actor he is. It shows that they are a terrible actor on the other side.
Quite stiff.
So Norbit is actually a phrase that is used, and that alone means Norbit will never be on this show as of yet. We might, one day do a special in which we do like overappreciated masterpieces, and Norbit will be the first one on the list. But for now, we are going to do Meet Dave. And we're going to be starting that in 3, 2, 1, play. Yes, and here we are. Meet Dave, 2008, guys. 20th Century Fox. Classic Meet Dave. Now, are you guys Eddie Murphy fans?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I've seen some movies of his that I liked.
Rhys is very confident
I'm
on
very
how much...
confident. I loved Coming to America.
Coming to America is great. So
I saw that 11 months ago. It was good.
11 months to the day.
Also, Beverly Hills Cop. Not counting the whole trilogy, just the first one will do.
My favourite Eddie Murphy film is Trading Places.
Ah, classic.
My favourite Eddie Murphy film is Trading Places. I've mentioned that on this podcast once or twice that I like Trading Places quite a lot. Trading Places is one of those films that each time it gets me, I just love Randolph and Mortimer, the two old guys, the Wall Street brothers that just ruin everyone's lives for a bet. For no reason other than let's see if we can. But we don't have to talk about Trading Places. We get to talk about Meet Dave.
Originally called Starship Dave, I believe.
Yes, that is
wow.
one of the true facts. Originally called Starship Dave.
And they changed it because Eddie Murphy was in some other space movie that no one liked.
Yeah,
Oh,
Pluto Nash.
That's it, and they didn't want them to associate it, so they made it Meet Dave instead.
Pluto Nash may appear on this show because not enough people know about Pluto Nash, and Rosario Dawson's in it, and boy is she attractive.
Yes.
Just saying.
Man, we just missed a huge plot point. He hit a satellite, and that just...
This character. Who would hire this guy? He's just saying, like, dude, like, seriously. I was like,
That's how
whatever.
we talked in 2008, dude.
Oh, really?
Yeah, don't you remember how we talked vividly like that? You're in a heavy metal band. You're the guy who uses dude the most in this room.
Oh, well.
No, it's like, is dude a Polish word?
No, it's an English word.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I don't know.
The current Polish president's name is Andrzej Duda.
Aha, so he's a dude.
Does that satisfy your question?
Yes, talking about major dudes, here he is.
Yeah.
This guy.
The dude.
I wonder, I wish I looked it up beforehand, but I wonder if this kid went on to do anything. Because, boy, look, he's screaming. I believe that he's terrified.
Yeah.
I like how this ball, like this meteorite, smashes into his room but doesn't explode. But then later on, Eddie Murphy crashes into the ground and the ground explodes.
This is true. And I'm surprised the goldfish is still alive.
I think the goldfish dies quickly because...
I'm more surprised that
spoiler alert.
I'm more surprised that the bowl didn't shatter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm surprised by that too. But, fish bowls are really strong. Have you owned a fish?
I've owned a fish.
I've owned a few.
Their bowls are pretty strong. I mean, those guys can't break out of there.
Unless you own a cat, then things get a bit complicated.
Talking about attractive people, Elizabeth Banks, who's the mother in this, I find that she's somewhat an attractive woman, but she is such a mystery to me as an actress because she does lots of comedic roles, but usually she will do what I like to call Jack Black, which is she'll do one really good one and then one really terrible one and then one really good one and then one really terrible one.
Balance.
Yeah, so she evens out as okay.
Yeah, true. She is also a director.
Yes, her first directing job was Pitch Perfect 2.
Yeah.
Which is... And talking about something that's pitch perfect, Dave himself. Here he is. Come on, show us. Oh, Kevin Hart's in this movie.
Yeah, before the whole ride along and the whole famous.
And here we have it himself, Charlie Murphy's younger brother.
Well, when did Soul Plane come out? Because that was a big one for Kevin Hart.
2006, 2005, I think.
Yeah, I've got it on DVD somewhere. Soul Plane.
damn.
I've been meaning to watch it. Here he is, the legend that is Donkey. Now, Bartek, you seem like out of the three of us here, not the biggest Eddie Murphy fan. Why is that? And also, have you watched Meet Dave?
Yes, I have watched Meet Dave, and I am now Charlie Murphy's youngest brother's biggest fan.
Yeah. Oh, here he is. When I watched this moment, I thought of that episode of The Simpsons in which Homer's watching that black comedian and he's just like, when white people drive, they're all like, Nina, it's just like, haha, it's so true, we're so lame. I thought that's Eddie Murphy, just a bit there, just like, yeah, maybe Eddie Murphy. You know what I love about Eddie Murphy? Now, Bartek, you may not know this, but what makes Eddie Murphy great is, some people might say, let's exclude Meet Dave. But what is the failure about Eddie Murphy outside of Meet Dave is he does this physical comedy. I never think Eddie Murphy's success was his physical comedy, but his intelligent comedy. Like Trading Places and Coming to America, what makes those films great is at the end of the day, it's about this, about the racial intolerance of America. That's like what's deep down in these films. Like the great thing about Eddie Murphy is he knows how to talk about the problems of racism, but also still be funny. But he's kind of gotten away from that over the years and gone towards these family films like Daddy Daycare. And that will be on the show one day. Daddy Daycare. That is a masterpiece.
Yes.
But he's gone towards this physical comedy, which, I don't know, Eddie Murphy, he's a good physical comedian, but is he Jim Carrey? No.
His physical comedy was really good in Shrek, to be fair. And that role really encapsulated the whole racism angle you were talking about. The donkey was really oppressed.
You're saying black people are donkeys?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying donkeys are oppressed.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Who are these people?
They're just regular people who just so happen to be walking by Dave.
I wonder if you go to Times Square, if you just stand there long enough, if people interact with you like that. Like, I stand in, Flinders Street, and people don't interact with me like that. Like, people ask me for change, but I don't get, people
They should ask
sassily
Obama for
clicking
change. Their
fingers.
Change now.
Here's where the plot begins.
Ah, yes.
When he got hit by the car the first time, I thought his head came off. And I'm like, what an interesting development that would have been. Like, if his, head came off, crashed.
Whoa, hold on. The thing on her windscreen was expired.
And now...
Oh,
It said 2006. This movie came out in 2008.
Well, she's a fucking... No, she does make a point.
single mother.
She makes a point about what a terrible driver she is. All of this stuff about, I've been caught... I've never been caught for this and this and this. So I wouldn't be surprised if she's driving with an expired registration. I really wouldn't.
Yeah, it's that thing on the left in the bottom right.
I can read.
But can you direction?
Talking about directors, the director of this film sure did make a film. Has he made any other films after this?
After this, he made another Eddie Murphy film called 1,000 Words.
I've never heard of that one, actually.
It was, it's about, someone puts a curse on Eddie Murphy's character,
No.
and he only has 1,000 words left till he dies.
Is it good?
Let's just say it wasn't released until 2012 when it was made in 2008.
So it was very good then.
Yes.
Oh, and
What a plot twist.
here's the first moment in which we discover Eddie Murphy is full of little people. And not dwarf actors. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that Eddie Murphy is in fact filled with small people, as in people that are really, really small.
It'll be funny if Vern Troyer was one of the people that wasn't tiny.
I really would have liked it if this was a random movie in which Mike Myers was in it.
Yeah.
And it would be and then what's his name from Coming to America? Arsenio Hall was in it as well. I was oh my god, think about it, instead of having Kevin Hart, you could have had Arsenio Hall in it, and then it would have been Coming to America .2. It's called Coming to Dave. And there's a picture of Dave but it's like him reenacting like the famous pitch on the Coming to America, but he's got like his ears removed and there's Arsenio Hall popping out of his ear like, hey, it's me, Arsenio Hall.
And it's just like he has his eyebrow raised, just like, oh, here we go again.
And and James Earl Jones is the pilot of the ship. And he's just like
cool.
And he's just like, get out of here. You know, that's my James Earl Jones impersonation for you there. It's not as good as my Paul Giamatti impersonation, which is, get out of here! Like, that's my Paul Giamatti.
Well, nothing's better than my Orson Welles.
Oh, please. Please.
If you're good.
Okay.
If you're good, which will be never.
Oh.
So we're getting an extensive look at the ship. Oh, here's something. The Doctor's a character, right?
Yes.
Mm.
Was I the only one who was watching this thinking that he was actually going to do something? Like,
Yes,
No.
actually, I admit, I thought he was just going to
No, because I wanted to see more Lieutenant Buttcrack.
Oh, yeah.
Lieutenant Buttocks.
Like, he makes like 3 ass jokes in a row in that, like, 5 seconds.
Yes. Ah, fun fact. The host of a podcast which I hold very dear to my heart called How Did This Get Made, which is one of the major reasons that I'm like, yeah, let's do this. Paul Scheer, he was originally cast as Lieutenant Buttocks, and then he got recast as Lieutenant Kneecap, and his scenes were completely edited out of the movie, and you only see him at the end on like crew shots, like when you see all of the crew, like that's
okay.
when you see him. And I just find that very amusing.
Well, Rhys was actually cast as Lieutenant Nosehair, but you don't see the Nosehairs at all.
Yes. Oh, here's Ed Helms. This was, of course, before his famous role in Vacation, the remake, which came out only last year. And that will be on the show one day. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it deserves that status.
People forgot that Clark Griswold's son, Rusty, had a vacation of his own. That and Eddie's Vacation will be on this show, hopefully. But enough about what will be on this show. What is on this show is Meet Dave. So none of us saw this in the theatre, huh?
No.
No, like I said.
Do we all regret this?
With my entire heart, and same with Rhys.
I'm broken about it. Like, I remember when it came out and I got it from Video Easy. Or, you know, I got it as a rental and I watched it several times because the first time I watched it and I was in disbelief. And then the second time I had to watch it again because I'm like, no, there must be something about this I'm not understanding. And then I had to watch it a third time before giving it back to be like, maybe I was right about how brilliant this film is. Because a lesser filmmaker would have said, hey, Number 3's uniform didn't have to have random black tape below her bosoms to lift them for no apparent reason. But that's a lesser filmmaker. This filmmaker went, yes, we need to highlight that she does in fact have breasts. Which is good because I did not know that she in fact had breasts.
Also, did you know that she's number 3? You can tell because they're number 3's on her.
Yeah, and all the crew have like different numbers on their shirts.
Security guard guy.
Some are missing.
Yeah, some
numbers.
of them are like Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's like random though.
No,
Like,
did you know that like apparently there was some extra materials that came with like a later release of this on like DVD, and they actually gave his number. He's like 17 or something. He's like a double-digit number.
Well, that's good. I see number 10 was later on. He's in it. But look, Eddie Murphy doesn't have a number 1.
It's because we know he's number 1.
Yeah, we know by his mustache.
We know because he looks like the spaceship, the Starship Dave.
Now, of course, Ed Helms is the antagonist of the film. That's a spoiler, of course, but if you've watched classics before, then you've watched Meet Dave. And Ed Helms is a villain. Now, how do we know this? He's the only crew member, other than the Doctor, who does not, in fact, have a mustache. I mean, of course, we can't see number 3's mustache because of makeup, but he, in fact, does not have a mustache, meaning that he is a villain. Only strong leaders have mustaches, like number 4 and number 1. The Doctor doesn't have any, but he's not a real crew member. He's just a doctor, so who really cares? I mean, Kevin Hart doesn't have a mustache, but he's only, like, one of the guys who, for some reason, keeps leaving the ear to go out dancing. I don't know what that's about.
It's his black soul.
It's his black soul. Yeah, Kevin Hart's in this movie. Now, here's the thing I want to ask you guys. Do you like Kevin Hart?
yes.
Bartek?
He's okay, I guess.
Okay, tell me why you like Kevin Hart.
Well,
What about him do you like?
I just like how he's chaotic in a way. His high pitched voice and his constant just like pandemonium sort of
See,
You
appeal.
sounded like a therapist, Ryan.
I have never gotten the Kevin Hart fandom.
Like-
I've never got it because I've seen him in things and I've always thought that he was just okay. But he's in enough things, and I have had many conversations with people who are diehard Kevin Hart fans. Like, they will be like, oh look, Get Hard with Will Ferrell seems like a terrible movie, but Kevin Hart's in it, I'll give it a pass. Why is that? I don't know. And I've watched enough of his stuff to be like, yeah, I know he's funny. I know he's good. I've watched a good portion of his stand-up. I like stand-up better, but I've just never understood Kevin Hart. And here's the thing. I'm not saying that this is true, but has anyone noticed that, Chris Tucker suddenly disappeared from Hollywood, and then Kevin Hart randomly appeared in Hollywood? Are they the same guy?
Well, they are black. Oh!
But hang on a second, Bartek. There is
Yeah.
a difference.
Yeah.
Chris Tucker is
Tall.
tall.
But that's a good part of his acting. He's just on his knees.
I like this scene.
Or Kevin Hart is on stilts. And, that's what I'm saying. Like, Kevin Hart, like, people go to me, oh, Kevin Hart's so, like, I've heard the argument Kevin Hart is, like, really unique. Like, but Chris Tucker, he's just Chris Tucker. Like, I don't see the difference between him and Chris Tucker. Chris Tucker at least did some more artsy, ballsy films like Fifth Element.
Oh, well.
And Inspector Gadget.
He was not in Inspector
I
Gadget.
recall one reviewer
Was he
say...
not?
No, what? He's Chris Tucker in Inspector Gadget.
I recall...
Oh, is he the car?
I think so.
Oh, yeah.
I
haven't seen it.
I can recall one reviewer saying Chris Tucker was like the Jar Jar Binks of the Fifth Element. That was just...
He was the best part of the
He
film.
was the best part. He was just the opposite of Jar Jar Binks.
Fuck
He was
you
great.
said that. The worst part of Fifth Element was the film. No.
So here we have the mother of Josh. She's brought Dave. Sorry, he's not named yet, but he brought the Starship Dave into her house. She's got an ulterior motive.
To bang him, I do believe.
There's no domestic
Sex.
violence in this. Oh, for sex.
Fair enough.
No domestic violence. I like how I think her art is rubbish, and then number 2 later also tells her art is rubbish. That's how I connect.
Are you number 2
I am number 2.
from Austin Powers? Oh.
And I like how there's a catchphrase later on with like bad stuff. What was it? Like his catchphrase at the end was like, when number 2 happens, bad stuff's bound to happen or something. Oh, I like this recurring joke that they never warn the people that they're going to get brutally murdered. Like, they're all dead now. Like, they've just drowned. Kevin Hart
It's
dies.
just screaming.
No, I swear, Kevin Hart dies like 15 times in this movie. Like, I actually
Mostly by drowning.
I
yes.
yeah. I have in my notes many times Kevin Hart is dead. Like, I have like one of them is just like Kevin Hart's in this. I didn't realize he was in it until later, in which he starts dancing to like the rap music or the hip hop. I'm
Like
like,
in
oh,
the
that's
credits?
Kevin Hart. No. Like, when the crew, spoiler alert, the crew gets infected by human emotions, when he puts on the headphones from the Apple store, yeah, that's right, there's product placement in Meet Dave. Screw you, buy an Apple. And he wears the headphones.
Buy an apple.
A singular apple. A green one is my preferable. And
Oh, the Granny Smith.
the Granny Smith.
They're pretty good.
Yeah, true.
And he puts on these headphones and it pumps out music. Kevin Hart, I don't call him Kevin Smith. Kevin Hart is like the one who dances to it. That's I'm like, oh, that's Kevin Hart, because I could tell by his very, very short stature and muscular build and high voice, even though he's not talking at that point. I'm like, oh, it's Kevin Hart.
It is Kevin Hart.
So we barely talked about Eddie Murphy in this movie.
I've been trying to bring it back, but you heart.
I Hart. So people say Eddie Murphy's career is dead. I don't remember the last film he did. The only one I do remember is Tower Heist.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that exists.
That was like 4 years ago.
I can't think of anything else.
Is there a Shrek spin-off you might have been in? I don't know.
No, the last Shrek movie was 2010.
That's like 6 years ago.
That one was actually surprisingly good.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. I mean, I think Shrek 3 is the best one, of course.
Really?
Yeah, sure.
It's the one that would be on this show, of course.
Yeah, Shrek 3. But all Shreks are appreciated. Have you not seen the Shrek fandom?
Yes.
Jesus.
I have not seen the Shrek fandom.
Oh, this is funny.
Rhys and I love the Bee Gees, so we approve of this part.
I approved of Eddie Murphy's facial expressions in the film.
I did too.
I think they're all great. Okay, the one joke that made me like genuinely piss myself laughing, like down on my knees, crying tears, is when she's like, "Oh, I could chat your ear off all day," and then he gives like a subtle look to his ear, and then he's like, everything is fine. Or something rather, it's like everything seems to be in order, and I'm just like, here it is, like I'm talking your ear off. Just it's like all is well.
I laughed more at the running joke of him shaking that guy's hand.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Eddie Murphy's version of the Terminator.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. I like how when number
This
2
part's
takes...
disgusting. I hate tomato sauce.
I like it. I would drink it like Eddie Murphy. It's fun fact, Eddie Murphy is a method actor, so he drank that sauce for real.
Oh, the poor man. I mean, I do tomato sauce, but not to that extent.
I do Elizabeth Banks, but not tomato sauce. I agree.
The sauce vanishes in this shot.
No, it doesn't. His lips seared it off. Oh,
Kevin,
yes.
Kevin Hart ate it.
I do like how we never see the cat again.
Well, that's...
Like, he killed this cat.
I like the idea that they searched cat and got lion.
Yeah, I liked how they made a Google joke earlier. They're like, yes, we've got Google. What the hell is that? Oh, we've got Yahoo. It's like, ugh. It's like he's disgusted.
No love for Ask Jeeves or Bing.
Yeah, no love for Bing. Unless you want Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man, then there's plenty of love for Bing. Is it Bing in those ones? In the Amazing Spider-Mans? He's looking stuff up on
it is
Bing.
Bing.
Sorry, I was like looking at it for a second, like, what the hell are you talking about Spider-Man for? I'm like, oh, that's right, in the movie.
Fun fact, Eddie Murphy was originally cast as Electro in Amazing Spider-Man 2, but they were worried that
really?
he wouldn't be able to have the dramatic chops for it, so they got Jamie Foxx instead.
So he picks up the photo.
And he picks it up and he's like, where was this image
And then it's
captured?
on the stand again. It's not in his hands.
He's looking at it in his memory
Now it's in
banks.
his hands.
Yeah, and he's looking at it like...
Now he's here. What the hell? He was in the house just now.
We don't know what's going on. Oh my god.
Now he's there again.
That was dramatic, everyone.
Now Elizabeth Banks is acting.
Oh, that's something I want to talk about. She's fucking atrocious in this movie. Out of everyone in the movie, she's the one that brings it down. In every movie, there's one flaw, okay? There's one tiny flaw. One actor that could be trying better. She's gutter trash in this. I mean, I've seen... Look, this cop here, the fucking Statue of Liberty's doing a better job acting than Elizabeth Banks is in this movie.
What about... Wait, why'd you bring up the cop?
The cop is doing a better job.
Oh,
Which
okay.
cop?
Yeah.
The cop's fucking hat. Both of them.
Well, the cat.
The cat, the hat. The
What?
cat in the hat. We should do that.
What is what's Dooley been in?
Dooley? Which one's Dooley?
This
Oh,
the alien one.
The alien one? I'm pretty sure he was in...
Wait, the guy who's interested in the aliens.
Yeah.
He was in Ocean's 11 series.
Okay.
I was gonna say he... yeah. I'm pretty sure he was in... I'm trying to think. He was in... Oh, he was in Schindler's List.
Okay. Okay, none of which I've seen. Because I recognize the other guy from when I was bored as a kid and I watched Yes, Dear.
Yes, dude.
Oh, yeah, yes.
And here it is. The product placement.
I love how freaking Apple Store employees are always so hip.
And with it, and they're geniuses.
Like, every time I walk by one, I'm like, oh, they're all dressed the same.
Yeah, and
talking about technology, it's like Scientology or something.
Yeah, and look, some people might say this film had a large enough budget to survive. They don't need Apple money. But look, in the end, I think the Apple money really helped. I mean, I believed Eddie Murphy was a giant spaceship. Thanks, Apple. Apple, making you believe Eddie Murphy's a giant spaceship. That's Kevin Hart.
Yeah, I know.
I'm like, no, that's Kevin Hart.
This shot right here was where I was like, wait, I know this guy, because in the previous shots, he was
yeah,
far
exactly.
away
You
and I
couldn't really tell, and his voice wasn't as high
I was
pitched,
like,
screamy.
who's this guy? I was like, oh yeah, Kevin Hart. He's been in something I've seen, maybe, I don't know.
Now, you got to give it to Eddie Murphy. He knows how to jumpstart people's careers. Like, some might say, Brian, Meet Dave didn't make Kevin Hart's career. Well, what was he in before? Exactly. Exactly.
Was he in the Chappelle Show? I don't know.
I don't know. And the Doctor reminds me of Liam Neeson. Throughout the whole entire movie, I'm like, this Doctor
Oh, he
here...
does look
I'm
more
like,
like
he
Liam
does
Neeson.
look a
I'm
lot
like,
like
is
Liam
he Liam Neeson? And I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure he's the guy from Schindler's List. I get Liam Neeson and that guy from Schindler's List confused a lot.
I get him mixed up with Qui-Gon Jinn.
Qui-Gon Boo. I liked
That was a
how-
funny joke.
I'm a funny guy. I like how on each one of their uniforms they have different symbols for their jobs. So like the left ear guy had an ear on his suit, and like security has an eyeball because he's like looking out for you. And
He's watching you more like.
no, he's
I like how our interpretations are so opposite.
no. What do you mean? Do you remember his character? He's always looking out for you.
Yeah.
Remember, his character isn't in fact a macho security guy. He's in fact a tender gay man.
This part kind of
And-
confused me.
What they think is the ice cream
No,
man.
yeah, I get
Don't
it,
you
but,
like
like-
ice cream?
No, I
Bartek?
do, but like,
Give Eddie
do
Murphy a
cream,
lick.
Do ice cream men wear white suits?
Yes.
Yes.
Have you
Like
never
white
had...
aprons, white.
Wait,
hat.
no. Bartek's thinking in Poland they wear white and red.
I'm not from Poland.
Oh,
You've been
I
to
see.
Poland.
Yeah, and
So
I bought it
Bartek-
from women behind vendors or whatever. I don't know.
So Bartek would think red and white all round.
Yeah, exactly. He's just like
Okay.
every.
No, I would have sooner said it's Colonel Sanders.
Bartek would have. Oh look, it's a chick from Community.
Oh look, it's the
Ah, yes,
chick
it
from
is.
Drake and Josh.
Yeah, and she's like, "Welcome to Old Navy," and this is where the jokes truly begin.
This is Ryan's
This
magnum opus.
This is my magnum opus. This is where the Andy Kaufman humor really begins, in which if you do it long enough, it'll eventually be funny.
Well,
And
Brace
that's
yourselves.
our humor too, Paul Giamatti.
well, yeah, we're talking about comedy, but what about the deep meaning behind this scene?
The deep
There's a
meaning
deep
of
meaning?
like, no, there is like Eddie Murphy is alien in this society of giants, and now he has to try on clothes, and now he is coming across alien to the aliens, and yeah, it's really dramatic.
This part right here is the really tragic part of the scene.
Yeah.
He had this guy, he was gonna get help from him, and so much was gonna come of it, but his desperation to try to fit in by continuously saying welcome to Old Navy drives him away. Like,
Welcome to Old
just
Navy.
there is the really sad part.
Sorry, Bartek, I wasn't laughing at you. I was laughing at Eddie Murphy's great facial expression.
Trust me, I was holding down laughter while I was talking.
What I love about Eddie Murphy is, Rhys, Bartek and I would have a bit more experience, knowledge than you do as actors. I think it's really great that we could tell that Eddie Murphy is ready. And what I mean by that is, when other people are talking, if you look at Eddie Murphy, you can tell that he's just ready to say his line of dialogue. And that's good. Because sometimes I don't want it to come across natural, especially if this character's not supposed to be natural. He's supposed to be alien. So I like when you look at Eddie Murphy, when anyone else is talking, he looks like, okay, when she says this bit, it's when I talk.
I hate it when that happens.
I love it in this film.
But
And-
this scene did it really well.
Yeah.
And I wrote down in my notes, it took him like however long, like 26 minutes for the first poop joke.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And
the
I'll-
pennies. Yep.
And I'll, I like that's what you're like. Yeah,
I
the
should
pennies.
re-clarify. I mostly hate it in animated stuff because they like there are a lot of lines where they're clearly meant to be interrupted, but they stop talking without being interrupted. That always kind of ticks me.
Ticks me too, man.
Off.
This joke, if you could call it a joke, I didn't understand the purpose.
Yeah, it's like a setup to
To what?
The security
To
guys.
to a change.
Yeah, it's a setup so that, spoiler alert, the security guy is in fact a homosexual.
Oh, he's security. Okay, I just knew him as number 4.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
security.
right,
Like,
that's
he's the
eyeball.
head of security.
Okay, I just thought he was standing around.
And I like, okay, I've mentioned this before in these films, but once a character, like, especially with Bend It Like Beckham, once a character is revealed to be gay, the actor who plays that character plays it gay.
Yes.
And I don't know what that's about in acting terms. Like, why don't you play the character consistently? It's like they're two different characters. And I get the idea is that these people are now opening up their true selves, while the other person that we saw is them pretending to be what other people want them to be. But it's kind of like in every movie that
Well,
it's
in
like
this-
once they're revealed to be gay, like closeted homosexuals or not truly revealed, and then they're revealed, it's like now they're flamboyant and now they like rave music and I like a fringe and I like this, and they do all these lisps out of nowhere and they're playing it super gay.
Well, this movie is brilliant because it has the perfect excuse.
Why?
It opens up their true personality. So now
Yeah.
he can't show it, but he's trying to be it the whole time. But now he can be it. Although he has to hold back a bit until the, character barges into his room.
I like this bully quite a
Yeah.
lot. Smell my what?
I like what he calls him just throughout the
Butt
whole
crack.
movie.
Smell my. I like how he was like, I am sure the other butt cracks would be disapproving of your behavior. Like, I love how he's just like dead serious. This
And the
this
nurse
girl, this girl's fucking.
Yeah, vaporize the child at
Vaporize
once.
the child at once. Ed Helms is the best one in this movie. Number 2 got me in stitches so much. And I like the subtle thing about number 2 is he's infected with human nature as well. Because he is so gleefully ready for death and mayhem. Well, at the start, he was just neutral like everybody else. Like, everyone else was neutral. They're like, this is the mission. But as the film goes on, he becomes more bloodlusting. He becomes gleeful at, executing people and getting rid of the captain. But it's never addressed that he himself is suffering from the same illness as the rest of the crew, which is human nature. But I just like how subtle that is.
You mentioning that just triggered like an idea in my head. Like, they mention throughout the movie that, like, oh, look at these people, they're barbaric, they're crossing when the light says don't cross, and they being affectionate to each other when they don't want to be. But then later on they see like more tender stuff, and they're like, wow, these people are more complex than we thought. And that shows in number 2 that he took on the ugly aspects, whereas everyone else took on the really good
positives,
aspect,
yeah.
like the being flamboyantly gay, I guess. But he took on the ugly side, and that is brilliant, isn't it?
Yes.
Ed Helms knows how to chew up scenery. Like, Eddie Murphy is one of the greatest comedic actors of all time, and he is being overshadowed by Ed Helms in this movie. And what does that say about the master performances of this film? It says a lot.
It says a lot, but then bear in mind a couple of years later he did Tower Heist and he chewed up the scenery back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just remembered Tower Heist
Yes.
like 5 minutes ago. But yeah. I liked how this kid cannot act to save his
He should be replaced by the Mexican kid in... Sorry, the
yeah.
American kid in Coming... What's the last movie we watched? I'll Be Home for Christmas.
I'll be home for Christmas.
The one that you liked so much.
Oh, wait,
was
here's a
Mexican.
subtle joke. Oh, it's Britney Spears. Look how it dates this movie. Yep.
She's bald. Ah!
I remember she was a big topic in like 2005. Was she also in 2008?
Yeah, she shaved her head.
Yeah, she was on the cover
okay.
of every Woman's Day magazine.
Because I remember 2005-ish was when they were really shitting on her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I liked how Eddie Murphy has different accents through this movie. Like, Dave himself, like the ship, has an accent.
Yes.
Which is, I am Eddie Murphy. Like, I am doing my Eddie Murphy monotone voice.
It's like
Lou.
the eloquent voice, kind of.
Yeah, and then the crew captain's accent just keeps changing from Eddie Murphy and Coming to America, Eddie Murphy, to Eddie Murphy trying to sound
British.
less eloquent than Dave. I like the look on his face, like, oh Jesus, this isn't Looney Tunes, this is me, Dave.
I like the sign on the top right left that said pizza. Nothing else.
Bartek likes pizza signs a lot in these movies.
He's just on the lookout, basically.
Okay, I don't get this. This kid is got the weakest self-esteem ever. How about we have a kid that actually has a good amount of self-esteem in a movie, huh? Like, I get we're gonna root for the underdog nerd kid who gets bullied, but isn't that a tired trope by now? Like, what about if this movie crash landed and he was actually just like a kid? Like, he's got friends. He's not bullied. Like, how about he's not, and he is not a bully. He's just an average kid because,
But
like,
you see, that is too hard to write. They have to make him low on
It's
self-esteem.
a social commentary.
like, here's something. They could have focused on the fact that he's a child of, a single parent situation in which his father died. They could have focused on that instead of all of this bully nonsense. But that's a part of the greatness of the film.
Look, the film tried to take a lot of inspiration from Thunderpants. And, I mean, this movie is fantastic. Thunderpants is too. The part that they took inspiration from Thunderpants, they could have done it a bit better. Because Patrick Smash, he had self-esteem
Yeah,
issues, but he didn't let
exactly.
it bring him down that much.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, we just missed a line before in which the kid said, you should try, like he said, you should try, blah, blah, blah. I wrote in my notes for the kid, you should try acting. Because Jesus Christ, this kid. Out of all the films I've done, this kid's the worst actor. like out of all the children actors, Bruce Cook from Thunderpants, fucking star.
Oh,
yeah.
give him more work,
Rupert
seriously.
Grint, fucking
Please.
star.
Yes.
All the kids that we've seen in the movies, like Frankie Muniz and
Does Jonathan
Amanda
Taylor Thomas
Bynes,
count?
Jonathan Taylor,
Because
no,
he was
he's
in
an adult.
university,
He's an
but-
adult.
Yeah.
And you know, other kids, they're fucking stars in comparison to this kid. This kid's fucking okay. I'll take it back. The kid from I'll Be Home for Christmas, that's in the hospital scene, he's fucking atrocious. But as a main character kid, this kid is weak as balls. You know what annoys me? This family, I just don't want to be with them. I want to just be with Dave Ming Chang.
Yeah,
He's your best friend.
Well, the kid, like, say what you will about his acting, his character doesn't. Usually, when there's a like main character kid, he's more prominent, but like
He's barely in it.
But Eddie Murphy, Charlie Murphy's younger brother, he just overshadows him all the time. Like, yeah, the kid's in there and he has a subplot, but I don't know. It just he didn't seem more.
No, he's in it so that Eddie Murphy can show how he's being more human by giving the kid solid advice, and then the kid smiles, and then he smiles. It's becoming more human smile.
Terminator.
Which means that the kid's being used really well.
Yeah, he's being used as a tool.
This movie just blew my mind. That's
Look,
fantastic.
Seriously.
We just missed it, Bartek.
What?
But we just had the look. Not
look?
that look, her look. See right there?
She's
That's
in love.
the look in which we've talked about in Bender Like Beckham, where a character just gives a look in which you know, oh, they're in love. Meatloaf joke, good joke,
Yes.
solid, 10 out of 10. But they give a look like, oh, I'm in love now. Is that how love works? I don't think when I fell in love, I gave a look and I'm like, oh, I'm in love. I thought it was more of a gradual, slow thing in which it's like, yeah, but in films, it's like you got to communicate non-verbally that this person's in love. So you got to say, you write, like, I want to know in scripts, in Hollywood scripts, do they write down
You want to know
love look or the look?
You know what
or...
one movie did it interestingly?
What?
You guys sing Sound of Music, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say Silence
Yeah,
of the
in
Lambs.
Sound of in Sound of Music, there's a part where the captain says, "You know which moment I first realized I was in love with you," and he mentioned a moment that like didn't convey it at all.
Yeah.
It was like the dinner scene when like their first dinner together.
You know the moment in which I knew I fell in love with you? What moment before I met you?
Oh, come on.
That's romantic.
He seemed, the captain at the dinner table, he just seemed like kind of
That was still when
aggressive.
That's like when he was still. Oh, who is this woman?
You're a
no,
hip woman.
apparently that's when he fell in love with her.
Talk about captains at the dinner table.
This movie's brilliant. He knew that we were going to talk
Okay,
about Sound
yeah.
of Music.
Okay, this is great. I love how he's just like, there's no life on Mars. Believe me, I've checked. But Venus, on the other
I noticed
hand,
that too.
Venus has life on Mars. And Venus has life. That's subtle. That is a subtle joke.
I know, that was amazing.
Okay, now here's the bit in which we have to pause for a moment. In some films, you have to take a breather, you have to pause, you have to go, okay, let's give the characters a moment to breathe, to give a dynamic, to develop, to relate to each other. And this is the moment where the film says, yes, let's look at a cliched painting of Hart. And say,
If you look really
these
close-
characters are in love.
No, Ryan, if you pause the movie and look really closely, you can see at one part of the heart, it turns into Captain Von Trapp at the dinner table.
Wait,
do
hang on a minute. Where?
Hold on. Well, let's wait for the next shot.
Now!
Where it's do they show another portrait of it?
No. I do believe later on, I like how he says it makes me feel off balance, because this movie, that should be its like blurb. This movie makes me feel off balance.
So, like, if you were to show one scene from this movie to, like, a person without context and say, like, oh, this encapsulates the movie, would you say that's it, or would you say there's a better part?
Yep.
That's the...
That was a deep answer. But Nope really does say everything, because it's a definitive extreme.
It's a universal answer.
This shows everything. Like, you see her boobs got tape under it for no reason. You see that she is looking at him and he's looking somewhere. I don't know where he's looking. So, I do believe, now, I want to just say this before we get off track. The heart, right?
Yes.
Everyone's affected by this moment. Eddie Murphy, number 3, Dave Ming Chang.
Number 2.
Number 2, that's what I was going to say. Later on, I want you guys to check it out for me. It's a quick shot of when you get a montage of where you see how every member of the crew has been affected by the human emotions. So like gay guys dancing and the crew on social media, which was weird.
Oh yeah, those little scenes,
which was weird.
like between
the vignettes, the montages. There's a moment in which someone, and I think it's number 2, but they have shaving cream all over their face.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Is drawing the love heart in the mirror.
Yeah.
But then they put like lines in it to show a broken heart. And I was like,
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, so I want to know, is that number 2 showing that he has no heart or he has a broken heart? Or am I wrong and that's not number 2, but I know for sure it's a white guy. That's all I'm saying. So we have to keep an eye out. I like this homeless guy's just like, I've seen it all, mate. Like, don't tell me you're from outer space. What planet? Oh, Jesus. Like, look at him. Look at him, and the party continues. I would have watched a movie called Meet Homeless. And just about this.
This guy reminds me of Don Rickles, actually. He's got that attitude.
I thought it was Don Rickles. No, I'm kidding. He reminded me of also Peter Boyle.
Oh, yeah, Frank.
Frank.
Everyone Loves Raymond.
Yeah. I love how Eddie Murphy still doesn't understand anything, but number 3 understands. Like, why does she understand and he doesn't? Like, come on, Eddie, pick it up quick.
Because she's a woman.
She's obviously
there we go.
smarter.
Sexism brought to you by Bartek and Hollywood. I like this homeless guy. I want to watch.
Where's her kitchen?
It's obviously in the bot where you belong. And look, the doctor's number 0.
I noticed that earlier, but I thought like he was covering the 1 and he's like 10 or something.
No,
like, whoa.
I think he's number 0 because in, like, I don't know about in real life, but in a lot of movies and shows, doctors, like, this is obviously a military operation, but doctors, and yeah, look, is that number 2? Who is?
It is not number 2.
Who is that? I don't know who that is.
Oh, it's the ear guy. It's the ear guy.
Oh, why? We never get...
Oh, he's number 17.
Yeah, he's number 17. Okay, so the ear guy's drawing a broken love heart?
Yes.
Why? What
Maybe
happened
he felt
to...
inspired by
very-
the art.
It's a deep backstory to this movie.
I wondered if there's like deleted scenes in which that character has more and you find out that he lost someone or there's some reason why he has a broken heart. For me, for now, it doesn't make any sense and it would have been more interesting if it was number 2 because then you could get a character development, like why he's such an asshole.
Well, I
with just subtle visual imagery, but that's just me.
I mentioned this.
I'm a lesser filmmaker than Dave.
I mentioned this before we started recording, but I'll say it again. I think there was like a re-release of this on DVD or Blu-ray that came with like extra materials that gave you a lot of information about, you know, backstories, like on their planet that people get killed if they show emotion.
Yeah.
Which, you know, when they're going back home at the end, that like makes it a dark
ominous.
spin.
Yeah.
But I think, and I might be wrong about this, I think one of the characters was mentioned that they did have a partner in the past and something happened. I might be wrong on that.
Maybe it's number ear guy. Now, here's something I want to know.
This is a movie I have on DVD, but I haven't even taken out of the plastic wrap for years.
You have to watch it.
I know, I want to watch it.
So, I was going to say, talking about the lack of emotions from this race, it's this question of what is this alien race? Are they born without emotions? Are they brought up through society and mentality to not have emotions? Or are they, like, what are they? Are they like a race that is, like, DNA-wise, genetically-wise, they don't have that capability to have emotions, or are they a race in which it is through society's teachings that you do not have emotion?
What was that movie with the martial arts with guns?
Oh, Equilibrium.
Yeah.
Equilibrium. They do drugs to do that.
Yeah, that movie talked about it more. This movie was more about awakening to the emotions.
Yeah, I agree. This movie is better than Equilibrium. This movie could have done something that Equilibrium did do, which is have more dogs.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there's one dog later on.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot about the peeing dog.
This dog is unique because it pees on
Rhys is grimacing in pain at peeing dog. He was Rhys's pet dog.
Yeah,
and we unfortunately lost him to Eddie Murphy.
Yes, damn it, Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy is a big eater of dogs.
Rhys owns cats.
I own 2 fat cats that hate me.
And that's most cats.
Yeah,
so they all hate Rhys.
When you make images for the Facebook page, so you make one about I have 2 fat cats that hate me.
Yeah, and it's just a picture of like
every cat in the world.
Every cat in the world. I'm gonna write that in Google search. Every cat in the world, and see if
I
I
have-
get a whole world
I have
covered with
I
cats.
have a photo of my cat giving a really face. Rhys likes it. He calls it Grumpy Polish Kitty.
Is it a Polish cat?
Well, it's my cat.
He responds
So
to
does
Polish.
that mean if it is Polish because you own it?
Yeah.
What a vivid drawing they've done. It looks like any man ever.
I think they would have been better if they just took a photo of the shell that he made.
You know who I was about to call him the sheriff.
Wow.
The chief reminds me of.
Yeah.
You know, in Lord of the Rings, the insane king, the dad of Boromir.
Oh,
He reminds me of John Noble.
from Fringe.
Yeah, John. Yeah. He reminds
does
me.
look a lot like John Noble.
He reminds me of like John Noble, but like tubbier and more New Yorker. Like he's like, get out of here, chief. Oh, have you watched Samurai Cop?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you've got to watch Samurai Cop. That is
Samurai
like it's like one of those best
I've
worst
seen
films ever
Kabuki
made.
Man.
No, it's one of those best worst films ever made, and they have the chief in it, and he starts like, you know how in movies like the chief's always like, get out of here, like blah blah. He's yelling so much that he has to actually stop and catch a breath, and they keep that in there. Like he's like, blah 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 blah. Get out of here! Like they keep that in there for no reason. But back to Meet Dave. It has two actors from 30 Rock in it. Elizabeth Banks, who's the mother in this, is married to Alec Baldwin's character, Jack Donaghy, in 30 Rock. And the head of engineering is Frank from 30 Rock. So, is this a prequel to 30 Rock?
It is set in New York.
Well,
So
it
it
is
must be
set in New
close.
York.
Well, Ryan, this movie just only has one rock. 30 would come later when you get more rocks.
Oh, here's a question I'd like to know. You know how there's people that look like you, kind of thing, like doppelganger look like.
Yeah.
Since these guys are aliens, would there be people in our world that look exactly like Eddie Murphy? Like, is Eddie Murphy real in this universe? And he
That's a good
looks
question.
like...
Does the movie 48 Hours exist in this universe?
Yeah, like,
Yes.
does the movie Trading Place... Like, does Eddie Murphy exist in this movie universe where Eddie Murphy is the lead character? Like...
Does the kid have a poster of Donkey in his room?
Yeah, like, does the...
And how do they explain who the actor is?
Maybe the real Eddie Murphy is his stunt double, and maybe the stunt double is Eddie Murphy. Oh my god!
Maybe it's in that movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. What's it called? Where he's the Last Action Hero, where they just replace him. Last Action Hero, where they replace him on the Terminator 2 poster with Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like
That classic Schwarzenegger film, Junior. Yeah.
So in this universe, every Eddie Murphy role is played by Charlie Murphy.
I love Junior. It's such a classic.
I hate Junior. On my wall, I have a canvas of Danny DeVito artwork, but there is none from Twins, and that is my favorite movie about twins. Some might say, oh, but what about The Double with Jesse Eisenberg? It's no twins. I liked how number 3 completely lost her fucking mind just then and slapped Eddie Murphy's bald little head. It makes me want to slap Eddie Murphy's bald little head.
For good luck, obviously.
Like, I want to see
That's
Eddie Murphy.
rubbing it for good luck.
Yeah,
Guys, this is an action scene. There's a fight scene about to commence.
Dude, Terminator 2 has nothing on this part.
Terminator 2 has nothing. Like, what's James Cameron done since? Yeah, exactly, nothing.
Avatar.
But what about, nothing. I
Yeah,
said nothing.
and The Last Airbender sucked. Say what you will about James Cameron. I have not seen The Last Airbender. I don't even watch Avatar.
And, look how mincingly gay the fucking security chief is in the background. Like, I like
he walked
watching
away.
him
Damn.
being mincingly gay. Like, he's just like, oh my god, there are aliens everywhere, and oh my god.
What's up with her
There's
left,
a
what's
bit-
up with her left breast? There's like lines on it.
There's on both breasts. They are of part of the uniform. Bartek, get it right. There's a bit later on where there's a dance sequence, and I wrote like 5 minutes before. I wrote 5 minutes before dance sequence on my notes, and the dance sequence had yet to begin. But you know, Hollywood and movies have. If you watch enough of them, if you're enough of a vivid fan of films, you come to know the cues of movies, like where this is going to go, what this scene's going to be, what you're going to get, what they're going to say, what the storyline is. That's what that scene did, and it took a solid 5 minutes for me to be right. Like, and it was like 5 minutes and then dance sequence, and I like the bit in which, like, I know I'm skipping ahead, but the bit where the gay guy has to take over the dance thing for the body because
That part
obviously
made me laugh.
gay guys know how to dance, but black people don't. I guess that's the message of it. This joke is great. The old man next to him, and he's just like, show off.
It was inspired by Austin Powers, and
now that is Don Rickles.
That is Don Rickles right there.
He's like, Jesus, show. I want to see his movie, Meet Show Off. And he's like, old man, and he's just stuck in the toilet for the whole movie. Like, you know that
he's doing a
movie?
joke again.
Mark Rhodes.
Mark Rhodes, or as I like to call him, Paint Guy, because we knew he was a love interest for her because he gave her paint for her paintings.
Ah, yes.
I like this scene really shows the duality of man, right? This guy is a nice guy, but then he's actually a nice guy. Like, he's doing that thing. Like, he does that thing in which he's actually a stand-up guy. Like, he's a real good guy. But then he does this douchey male thing in which it's just like, look, dude, like, if you step on her toes, I will go you because she needs a decent guy in her life. And, she's already got one right here. It's like, what a douche. Like, this guy's like a Black Widow spider. Like, he's just waiting for his time to catch her in his web and, like, suck the life out of her.
He did
but
mention...
he's also a nice guy.
He did mention that if he took advantage of, what's her name again? Gina.
Elizabeth
Then
Banks.
he'd have a serious problem. But then again, it is kind of a douchebag moment because maybe I want to have a relationship with her.
He should have been played by Michael Cera. Then it would be more.
He should have been played by Michael Shannon. Yeah, I agree.
Michael who?
Shannon.
Oh,
right.
Michael Shannon.
Michael Shannon.
Michael Shannon.
That was a funny joke.
Michael Shannon
Shannon
is a great actor who should have been the bully. Like,
Yeah,
imagine.
I love this bit.
I like this bit too, but I like the idea that could you like I would have.
It's a joke we seek.
Yeah, I like the idea of a movie. How about we make a movie where everything's the same, but the bully's played by like a 50-year-old man?
Don Rickles?
But no, he's like 80 years old, but he's still portrayed as a kid. Like, he's like, I'm gonna tell my mum and dad on you, and he's like 50 years old. Like, he's played by like someone like different. Like, you get him played by like Peter Capaldi. Like, and he's like, I'll fucking go you cunt, and it's just like, I'll get my mum and dad on you, and you walk over, his mum and dad are the same
The
age.
deleted scene from In the Loop.
No,
basically.
younger.
They're slightly younger than him. Randomly, just to go off topic.
The dad can be played by Josh,
Yeah, randomly to go off topic.
and the mum can be played by the Mexican kid. Yeah, sorry,
To go off topic, do you like Freddy Got Fingered?
I've never seen it.
Do you?
It's quite the movie, actually.
I tried to watch it. And
You
I
tried?
I couldn't get through it.
You couldn't get... Oh...
It was so bad.
It's a delicacy. Believe me, it is a delicacy.
Oh.
That it can be enjoyed by the best of film fans or not the best of film fans.
When I watched this scene,
She's 68. If there was one more number, she could be 69.
oh dude, that's where the man eats the pussy and the woman eats the dick.
Yep, dinner for two. Yeah.
So in
Did you
this,
see Daddy, would you like some sausage? Like the
Yes, I've lived the moment. Look at Elizabeth Banks. She's really happy because she gets to eat fairy floss in this scene. Like,
I'd be very happy, actually.
dude,
yeah.
when I was an extra on some things and they gave me something to drink on camera, it was the best.
Yeah, but the problem is you drink it really quickly and they're
Hey,
still
it's-
doing
I took
It's
it
the Google
I
guy.
took it slow.
the
What?
Google guy.
Like
Oh, College Humor's the
Yes.
Google guy, or Funny or Die, whichever one. He's like the guy if Google was a guy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's like the wrist. Oh my Jesus.
Oh, cool.
And they made a joke about Google before. It all connects. Oh my God.
College Humor ripped off this movie.
College Humor's a rip-off of everything.
Yeah.
God damn it, College Humor.
Okay, so they're down. They're dead. The sun shields, I like that little joke about like the eyelids are sun shields, and now they're dead. They're like, my eyes. It didn't hurt for some reason before, but
So apparently, they were knocked out for a long time.
Yeah, they were knocked out for a good period of time, and now Eddie Murphy is alive, but he's like, I need more energy, help me. And now he's alive. How did no one notice that his eyes lit up? That's the thing I'd like to know. He's looking at him directly in his eyes. How does no one notice
Maybe it's
him?
like Elizabeth Taylor. She just has pretty eyes.
I like how this hospital, this room had a crucifix of Jesus up there.
Oh, it does. There it is.
Most do. Most hospitals do that.
Yeah?
Especially if it's like a saint hospital.
Oh, fair enough.
Like if
yeah.
he's in like, just say a hospital name like St. Helens or something.
So, by
I
the
love
did you guys know?
I just like the word Helen. St. Helens.
St. Helens.
So that part where they gave him the defibrillator was sort of foreshadowing to the climax.
Yeah, the climax in which Eddie Murphy is hit by lightning and he is recharged. That would be enough energy to recharge him to fly home, unlike what a lesser film would do, which is like a taser, but yeah, whatever. A lesser film would do that, but this is a high
Cat?
film.
Where's the cat? That's a callback to the lion joke.
That's a callback to when he killed a cat.
That
Talking
poor
about
kitty.
lions, this kid. Could we feed him to one?
He's not Matthew Broderick.
Yeah.
And he hasn't won a Razzie yet, so...
Oh, look at Ed Helms chewing up the scenery. You have been a fool!
In tarot cards, the fool's a pretty good card
These
to get.
lumbering giants
It
as
is?
if they're angry.
I need someone to do my fortune, actually. I've never done that before.
Fortune's a card in tarots.
I'll do your tarot card. Okay, you've got the Ed Helms card. You shall overact in a movie that you'll be in the future.
Yes!
Ooh.
I will be remembered forever.
And then you get the Elizabeth Banks card, Bartek, in which you are completely hammy, but not in an interesting way, and you bore the audience.
Man, I hate ham.
Wait, you
could-
hate ham?
You
It's
could be
disgusting. I don't like it.
you could be spam then.
What's
Ryan, you get the Mexican kid from I'll Be Home for Christmas card.
So sexy. Yeah.
Yes. you'll become exactly like him.
Talking about Mexican food, they're going to like a Cuban Mexican
yeah.
place. I like that we recognized him from that picture. Like, oh, a bold black guy. It's Eddie Murphy.
We're
It's
going
like
to have a
South
party.
Park joke almost.
What, a bold black guy? It's Eddie Murphy.
No, they see a black guy and they're like, "That's him."
I do have it in my note. Oh, here it is. I wrote down here. Oh, dance sequence, and it takes like a solid 5 minutes for them to get into this dance sequence. Too
Yeah,
long.
this is a callback to Spider-Man 3, the best part of that movie.
I thought it was a callback to that infamous dance scene in Greece, in which
Which one?
In which Eddie Murphy dances with John Travolta in a car. You remember that?
Is that where
scene?
they make out at the end?
Yeah, and they fly off into Eddie Murphy's giant mouth, and you realize the sky is Eddie Murphy's face.
Dude, that song was so catchy.
Yeah. That song, Eddie Murphy. Yeah.
Oh, this is the part where Kevin Hart dies again and drinks alcohol for the first time.
He's dead. Like, he is so... It did make me want to have a drink, though. Like, do you ever wish that you could be in, like, a giant pool of a liquid that you can drink and
And
just
a
swim
large
around
mince
it?
leaf.
I've
yes.
had that thought before, but then I thought I get pretty sick of it pretty quick.
Like,
Oh, is this the... No, sorry, we already talked about
well, we've already
the
went
scene.
past that. But I like how his hair is now curly, the engineer. Like, he's like, oh, yeah.
I like how this
guy.
guy's excited that he's getting a cougar.
Yeah, I like there's a reference near the end of the film in which it says, like, you know, we got to know what the kids... like the social media, MySpace, and I'm like, oh jeez.
Yeah, this was a few years before Facebook took over.
Yeah. Look how happy he is. Who's engineering his face?
He's a genius, whoever's engineering his face.
Lieutenant Lips.
I know. A part of me does want to just have a giant pool of liquid that you can drink, like not just water.
Wait,
what
that
I mean?
middle white guy kind of looked like James Franco a second ago.
It's not James.
I know it's not, but it looked like him.
You know who it is though?
Who?
It's Dave Franco. He's lesser brother.
Oh, here's the scene.
Oh, here's the scene in
Here
which
is the
he's like,
scene.
I am absolutely gay. He's like, I am gay. Now, if you see me, I'm recalibrating our weapon systems. And then you go into his room and he's got like dildos on the walls and shit.
He does have a sweet moustache.
Yeah.
I do like the room, actually. It looks quite comfortable.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
now he's about to... Oh, there he goes.
Oh, there we go.
Now let's talk. Okay.
Busted!
You know who would have been better in this role? Now go with me on this. Have you watched Independence Day?
Yes.
Have you, Bartek?
I've seen many scenes, but I haven't seen it.
Okay. Have you watched Mrs. Doubtfire?
I know who-
I
I know.
own it, haven't watched it.
Yeah,
I know which character
Yeah,
you're talking about.
yeah. Robin
The guy who
Williams.
talks like
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Oh, I know
The
who
guy
Robin
who
Williams is.
the guy who is his brother in Mrs. Doubtfire, the really gay guy who's his brother, who is in The Simpsons as the voice of Carl, not Carl as in Carl and Lenny, but Carl as in that episode where Homer gets hair and he gets really successful and he gets his own Smithers and it's Carl and he's like, and he talks like this, you know, and he's just like in Independence Day, one of the famous scenes is in which everyone's getting exploded, and he's like, oh no, I gotta talk to my mother. And I think he would be great as this gay security guy, because I'd like to see him play Butch first, right? Like, for him to be like, him not to be so flamboyant, but him to have his deep voice, and him be like, the systems are ready, sir. And then when you have him be gay, he's like, oh my god. Like, what's happened to that guy?
That voice? It's like,
he probably has severe throat cancer.
Oh.
They could have gotten Burgess Meredith to play number 4.
Burgess Meredith is dead.
Yeah, but he still could act, right?
Yeah, you get his body up in some sticks.
I could just imagine, like...
That is a terrible outfit. I don't care.
I do like her hair, though.
Her hair looks
nice.
like, That's So Raven from...
Oh my god, it's Justin Bieber. Ah!
He inspired...
Oh no, it's the wrong way.
He inspired Bieber... Oh, the fact that you know what way it is. And that was a mirror reflection, so it's actually the right way.
Hey, okay, I gotta think about this.
Yep, you gotta think. Think using your brain.
You gotta think.
I do declare it is the right way.
Look at her fucking dress. It looks awful. If I was Eddie Murphy and I turned around and went, huh, I didn't order a gin. And just like,
That's the face. I didn't order gin.
I didn't order gin. And he's like, oh.
Overly flamboyant gay guy.
Oh my god. Like, okay, when I was watching this with my girlfriend and my housemate, and they were just like, bitch, he's got a ship to run. Like, don't be angry at him that he's in a situation in which the ship has to be activated.
Yeah, to be fair, from this point out, she sort of whiffle waffles around her affinity towards... Her loyalty, I mean, not her affinity.
Infinity or affinity?
I said affinity, but now I changed it to
To
loyalty.
infinity and beyond!
That's a reference!
There is a movie, spoiler alert, down the line I want to do a Tim Allen movie. And I want to do the movie Zoom, in which Tim Allen has superpowers. And he has a superpower family. Yeah, I just thought about that because I said to infinity and beyond. It's like, oh, Tim Allen. Here's a question that I'd like to know, right? Eddie Murphy...
Question you'd like answered, you mean, right?
I'd like you to know this question.
Okay.
And for me to get the answer. I'd like to know, when Eddie Murphy read the script, he read it and went, yes. I don't know why. Just silence.
Money? Well, I know the question now.
Yeah, and that's the end of that.
Because it's an amazing movie, isn't it?
It is an amazing movie.
It is a classic movie.
Now, I had a severe argument with my girlfriend and housemate last night in which they said, Ryan, this is the worst movie you've done on this show so far. This was awful. They hated me for making them watch it. They yelled at me when I said, I actually liked it. And I got a lot of flack. Look, I think it's okay. I think it's a really good movie. And I put this... in terms of quality. Now, when it comes to the show Unappreciated Masterpieces, I don't like to get dick measuring competitions with which film's better than which one. But in terms of film making, like when you go down and go, which one's a better film, Meet Dave is better than Kangaroo Jack by a mile.
Yeah, and completely independent of Ryan's circumstances, I came to that conclusion as well.
And out of all the films, it is the best made film. The cinematography is good. The acting is solid all round. Like, it's consistent.
Yes.
It's consistent. The special effects are decent at points. Like, most of them are
the commentary on
decent.
friendship in that movie?
Yeah.
Astonishing.
Yeah. Oh, I'm talking about Meet Dave.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was
Meet Dave has great cinematography.
I thought we were like, just,
Meet Dave has cinematography, great, all this. It actually, with the idea that it has, it goes full out with the idea of Eddie Murphy being a giant spaceship full of tiny people, like little people. Not dwarf actors, I mean like small people. And I don't know why Kevin Hart likes to dance outside. Die. And I don't understand. But out of all of them, I think it's the most constructive one. If you want to hear me right now say which is my favorite out of all the films, and like not just like which one's the most unappreciated, my favorite is Big Fat Liar. Out of all the films, that's my favorite we've done, and it's also just my favorite film out of all of them. But Meet Dave, I think, is actually, out of all the unappreciated masterpieces, the most high-end unappreciated masterpiece. This was the one that had the biggest potential to be an appreciated masterpiece. Think about it. On paper, it makes sense. Eddie Murphy playing a spaceship full of smaller versions of people, including himself, doing lots of goofiness with sci-fi action comedy fun. you've got Kevin Hart in it. You've got Ed Helms. You've got,
Mike O'Malley, I guess.
Mike O'Malley. You've got, Screech. I mean, on paper, it sounds really awesome. And then the film comes out and people realize that Eddie Murphy isn't the greatest comedian anymore and they don't give it a chance. But thank God, because if this film didn't get the big reception it needed, we see it today and we realize as a group right now that this film deserves every piece of praise that it can get, because this film tries. It really does try with what it is given, and what it is given is very good. And I think this film is one film that each one of these actors should look back on and go, I am proud I was in this.
I agree with that completely. I just really do not understand why so many people like to talk about this film like it's rubbish.
It's, it's like people like to jump on the bandwagon of negative press towards a movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you reckon like some YouTuber like Douchebag Meets World like talked about this movie and he was like really popular?
Yeah, it's the same with any movie that's...
Yeah, popular
Yeah.
or not popular. Like, it has elements of being popular. Like, people just hate on it. Like, there's so many movies that are unappreciated that are, wonderful films that are overlooked. But like, say, for instance, an appreciated film right now is Star Wars. Now it's coming around to that time in which a popular film comes out like Star Wars and people now just want to shit on it.
Yeah,
Personally, I thought it was good.
Yeah,
But, that's just
agreed.
my personal opinion. But a lot of people now are turning to, here's why Star Wars was terrible. What's the point? Like,
it's
you know what I mean? Like,
unnecessary.
just enjoy a movie. These movies are here. Obviously, okay, look, let's be honest. They're here to make money, right?
Yeah.
They're here to make money. But a part of that is, it's entertainment.
Yes.
It's here for us to enjoy. And if you don't enjoy it, that's okay. You cannot enjoy it. But the thing is, art is subjective. And, people used to shit all over Van Gogh, and he killed himself. And if you keep doing that kind of stuff, this film could be like the next Van Gogh, in which, something bad happened, like it's unappreciated in the people's lifetime, but afterwards, people see it and they're like, if only people back then liked this, so that each person involved could feel that sense of satisfaction, that sense of happiness, perhaps.
So let me put this into perspective just to conclude this whole Star Wars thing. I saw The Force Awakens and I'll Be Home for Christmas in the same evening. Right. Obviously, I saw the superior movie second, but I still liked Force Awakens. So even when I put it next to such a great movie like I'll Be Home for Christmas, I can still find value in The Force Awakens. If I can do it, you guys can do it.
Yeah, exactly. Now, here's what I don't necessarily understand. Why does Kevin Hart jump out? Like, what does he expect to happen?
Freedom.
But he's gonna die. Like, even if he jumped not into that cup of coffee, he would have been dead.
Well, let's just face it, he is dead, but he just comes
He's
back.
got a lot of heart.
Yeah. He's
That's
like a
the
cat.
joke of the episode.
Yeah, the episode should now be called A Lot of Heart. Heart and Souls. That's a film with Robert Downey Jr. And it's a really good film, actually, so check it out. Eddie Murphy. I miss Eddie Murphy. I miss him. This movie, when I watched it, made me miss Eddie Murphy because there's glimmers of old school Eddie Murphy in this. I have no problem with new school Eddie Murphy. It's just, I do prefer the older ways of Eddie Murphy where, he did, like in this film, there's brief moments where he does his accent from Coming to America, and it just reminds me of the good old days of Eddie Murphy where he was willing to be rude. He was willing to do things that weren't just kids' movies. And this is a kids' movie. I don't care. It is a children's movie.
Yeah,
It's directed towards children. And there's nothing wrong with that.
There is nothing.
Children's movies deserve to be high quality as much as any movie should be. Every movie that is made is trying its hardest in some way from someone, whether it be just a costume designer or an actor, director, writer, is trying their hardest to make this a quality piece of art. Even in the most terrible of films, the ones that seem like they're not trying at all, they are trying, or there wouldn't be a film there in the first place.
Troll 2. This is what I meant earlier by her being wishy-washy. Like, literally 2 minutes ago, she
betrayed
him, and now she's gone back to his side. And the whole contention is, we do not want this maniac in charge, but she was blinded by that love thing.
She reminds me of Uhura from the new Star Trek movies. Like
Zoe Saldana character, right?
Yes, or Uhura from Star Trek.
Yeah.
I like how you're like, Zoe Saldana character. No, Uhura. Like, what the fuck are you on about? Like, she was around. Uhura's been around longer than Zoe Saldana.
Nah, she reminds me of the black chick from Star Trek.
Yeah, do you know Zoe Saldana was in Pirates of the Caribbean?
She was in the first one.
Yeah,
That's
and
right.
they were gonna expand her character, like at the end of the second one, when it's just like,
they've been pincered.
Yeah, when someone's back that you wouldn't believe, and instead of Jeffrey Rush coming back, it was going to be her.
Oh, but
then they wussed out because Zoe Saldana didn't have a bigger name as Jeffrey Rush, who is an Oscar-winning actor. And also, Barbosa was the best character in all of those movies.
He still is, actually. He's still he was in the fourth one, and now he's going to be in the fifth one, so...
Who isn't in the fifth one?
We should get Jeffrey Rush on this show.
We should get Jeffrey Rush on this show.
He can be our guest.
Yeah, and we could do...
A special guest.
And we can do Mystery Men.
Yes, we can do Mystery Men.
That's an unappreciated mouse.
Hey, Rhys.
What?
You're the guest. You know your place.
You're not coming back.
I'll just sit in my seat and just shut up there.
He's going to make his own podcast with blackjacks and hookers and forget the whole damn thing.
I got money.
Alright, so here's the part where they're in a big world.
Here's green screen.
that shot right there was the big green screen shot.
What about the bit in which... Oh, we have yet to see it. But there's a bit later where Kevin Hart, spoiler alert, is alive. And the guy grabs him with his thumb and forefinger by his head and puts him in Eddie Murphy's mouth. His whole entire head is blurred because they couldn't get the effect quite right.
His other hand...
just a big pixel, is that what...
No, I'm not joking. We shall watch
Here's the dog,
this.
here's the dog.
Oh, there's piss dog. Urinating dog.
Damn it, piss dog.
We get it. Number 3, you have taped up breasts. Oh. And he should be dead.
So the
she should be severely injured. I wrote a lot of times in this movie, what happens if they just died?
It wouldn't be a kids' film anymore, would it?
It would be, because Lion King has death.
I was about to say Lion King.
True.
So you're
Everyone says Lion King. They never say...
Finding Nemo had freaking children genocide in the first scene.
Yeah. Can I just say, take off your damn shoe, lady.
But she has to have her shoe. It's just like the wedding planner. Jennifer Lopez had to have her high heels, but no.
I haven't watched The Wedding Planner.
Do you like romantic comedies with Matthew McConaughey?
Well, I have watched Dallas Buyers Club.
Close enough.
I have watched True Detective.
And
that was a romantic comedy.
I've watched The Wolf of Wall Street.
I have watched Dazed and Confused.
Well, that was his first one, so we're getting close to the romantic comedy.
I've watched Thunderpants.
Alright.
There, Bartek.
I've watched Meet Dave. I think Matthew McConaughey is in that. Isn't he in Meet Dave? I'm pretty sure he's Captain Buttocks.
Yeah.
Or
He was really good in Move Me Dive.
I love how you say it.
Dude, that's how Google Translate the voice thing pronounces it.
Oh, so you don't actually know how to speak Polish?
No,
you have to use Google Translate.
No,
I've been getting shit this whole time.
Oh my goodness gracious me, Bartek. Oh,
No,
dear.
I like how robotic internet voices talk.
Oh, green screen.
No, it isn't.
Oh no, it's just made up on the spot. That's it.
No, it isn't. Like, they've got a real life... They've shrunk Eddie Murphy down to, like, a size of the people and put him on a windshield wiper. And they're like, tough it out, Eddie.
Do you reckon Ant-Man watched this movie?
I think Ant-Man got a lot from this movie. I've yet to see Ant-Man. But I know Paul Rudd's a comedic actor and Eddie Murphy's a comedic actor, and they're both little in their movies, so I think
it'd be worth it.
Do you know that Paul Rudd's 46?
Did you know that
He's
Eddie
46?
Murphy was 46 at one point?
Probably.
Maybe in this movie.
I think he's nearly like 60.
What, now?
Maybe, I'm not sure. I know he's in his 50s.
In this?
No, not in this. He'd be in his 40s.
Yeah. This was 8 years ago. I can't get over that. Like, this was too Nillian to express. Can we talk about how they come from the planet Nil?
Yeah, it means 0.
Like, I get it, guys. Puns.
Punny.
There was a I can't remember now.
Nil's a pun?
On 0.
That's not a pun, it's just a word definition.
No,
Nil on emotions.
They're nil
Done.
on emotions, Bartek.
I thought no, it's a reference to the fact that they're all numbers.
No.
How could it be the fact that they could all be I don't get it.
They're all numbers. So
This is a crew, Bartek.
I'm confused.
They're not cold numbers.
They don't have names. Until the next scene.
Yes, they're like, I am Dave Ming Cheng.
Dude, spoiler!
I am Dave Ming Cheng.
I'm Jonathan Dazzles.
Yeah, I am Spartacus. We get it. You watch Spartacus.
And
Spartacus, we get it. You watch me, Dave.
I'm Spartacus.
Have you seen the Pepsi ad?
Wait, did you get that?
What?
He was a black guy and he couldn't hail a cab.
Well, it's because he's not doing
So there
the same
is
thing.
racial jokes in this Eddie Murphy film.
Look how
Teaching
angry
the
you
young
get.
children.
Look how angry that guy gets that a black man stopped his cab.
No, he gets angry at the fact that he's getting choked to death by a guy strangling his tie off. And this guy's like, I'm scared. And this guy's like, I am a cop and I don't give a damn.
I
Like,
want a donut.
I like this cop now. He's like,
Dooley.
yeah, aliens. Yeah,
He
all
looks,
right,
he
aliens.
looks like freaking Owen Wilson.
He's actually the son. He's actually the son of James Caan. This guy.
He is, I know, it's Scott Caan.
Yes.
And he looked a lot like his dad, I will give him that. You said Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
Have you seen that thing where it's like if Owen Wilson was a Jedi?
Oh no.
Mate.
It's like Owen Wilson's a Jedi, turns on lightsaber. Oh wow! And it's just like a smiley face
Owen Wilson's really fun to make fun of.
because he's not a very good actor.
Well, he's a fantastic actor.
Talking about good Wilsons, Luke Wilson was in Idiocracy.
Yeah.
He was pretty good in Idiocracy.
He was in That 70s Show.
Damn it, I mispronounced it.
That 70s show as
He played
Ashton
Kutcher's
Kutcher's
brother.
older brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like hitting on everyone. But talking about older brothers, Kevin Hart. I don't know what that segue was. But look, like he's grabbing his by his head, but this isn't the scene. Later on, there's a scene in which like he
And, you
puts them in Eddie Murphy's mouth and his head is blurred.
In this scene, he's got an excuse because his right hand's holding the coffee cup. In the other one, his right hand's free. He could just like put him on that.
Look, if I had the opportunity to meet, take that, Sarge, to meet Kevin Hart, I'd grab him by his tiny little head with my thumb and index finger.
Well,
and
you're very
lift him
tall.
around. I am tall, and so
And
is.
so's Rhys. I'm the short one, but I'm older than you guys.
How
God damn
old
it.
are you?
A few months older than you.
When were you born?
May.
Yuck. When were you born, Rhys?
March.
But Rhys was 1994 though.
Oh, you're young.
He's a bad bee.
Here's Ed Helms. He's now like evil. Here's something. Why couldn't this engineer just take over the ship? He's like, I don't want to do this.
Because only the captain has the override. Also, they misspelled override.
Where?
There's two R's.
Oh yeah, there's meant to be two R's. They misspelt it.
No,
Unless
Nillian
it's American.
culture's different.
Yeah, I know, but English culture, it'd be wrong.
Nillian culture is
Oh, there was a thing.
Yeah, all along it was just an orb. They just told you that. I like how the override is just grab other arm.
So if you need to do you need to get rid of the rock to do the thing?
No.
Yeah, because in the fish tank, it like... you
didn't
know,
No, he just did that to show its aesthetic value, to show that it's a piece of technology, not just a piece of
it's a
nature.
sci-fi film.
I like how everyone's like, oh my god, there's a guy in a white suit. I like, okay, this might
He's an
sound...
ice cream man.
This might sound bad of me. Now, this might be Bartek racism kicking in, but you know how you could tell that was a stunt double just then when he did a flip?
How?
Was he not black or something?
He was a lot blacker.
Oh, okay.
Like, his skin tone was dark.
That's not
black.
racism, that's an
But Eddie
observation.
Murphy is, like, a lot lighter toned. So, like, that's just like, oh, that's a stunt double there, because he's a lot blacker than Eddie Murphy.
I need to watch that scene again then.
Well, let's rewind. Come with us.
No.
I'm too engaged in
Going on
Ed
the stage
Helms.
true.
Ed Helms' acting style is, can I flare my nose more? Can I flare my nostrils? See if I can, everyone.
There is
this
steam coming out of my face.
Is this the same character from... Is he the same character from Where the Millers? Have you seen that? Oh, you haven't seen Where the Millers?
Which
That's the one where it's like Jennifer Aniston.
Jason Sudeikis.
Yeah, and they pretend to be a family, and
Yeah.
he's like the gangster boss. And he's like, I shall feed you to sharks. Mwah. I'm wondering if they're the same character, because, spoiler alert, he gets left behind.
He does?
He's stuck in the butt. And I made sure, I looked at the crew, like in the ship, he's not in there. At the end of the movie, they escape in a shoe. He's the only one that's not in any of the shots at the end.
Oh.
So it's left to my conclusive evidence that Ed Helms, number 2, is left inside the ship. And that means when Homeland Security and all that get this alien piece of technology, they're going to find a little Helms in a butt, and they're going to dissect him or interrogate him, or they're going to do terrible stuff to him.
So he's the only alien that probably doesn't get killed when he goes, because he doesn't go back home.
He gets, Bartek, he gets killed. I mean,
Damn.
if you're captured by the FBI and all that, and Area 51, and you're an alien, you're not going to survive.
No.
You're going to get sliced and diced, and even though he's tiny and you could do it with a fucking compass, he's going to get killed.
He's doing much less than a compass.
I was just saying.
He needs a spaceship.
I am Dave Ming Chang. That's a guy's name.
Really? You're going to go that route? And I like how he has a date with Moskowitz. What?
I am Dave Ming Chang.
But he's not Chinese.
His name is Dave, though. Yeah, I am Liam Neeson. I am Liam Neeson. I am not Liam Neeson. I am Buttocks.
He's the best.
I am not Buttocks. I am
Johnny
Johnny Dazzle, and I am fabulous. Could you be any gayer? Like, when the director... Now, this director's directed such films as Norbit.
Is there a gay in that?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I think so.
Nah, I've got to think about that.
And Norbit himself is portrayed very effeminately.
Well, the Norbit, yes, is portrayed very... Yeah.
So, I bet the director just said, hey, Johnny, Dazzles, could you play it more gay? And the guy's like, I'm playing it as gay as I can. He's like, okay, get this guy lubrication. We need to shove something up his rectum so he knows how to be gay. And then that's how they've played it.
Show him some more Will and Grace.
Show him some more Will and Grace. Have we got that episode of Frasier where Patrick Stewart's in it playing a gay guy? We need these episodes now.
Show him the clip
No,
of
no,
Bart
no.
going. Show him the clip of Bart Simpson going zap.
Yeah. Show him more John Waters movies. Now.
Show him all
I
of
miss
Bend
John
It Like
Waters.
Beckham.
He's still around.
He is?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
He was in the new Chipmunk movie as himself.
Oh my God.
I know, this is the best part. He's in the new Chipmunk movie as himself, and the freaking Road Chimp movie, that's what it's called, Road Chip.
Yeah, the Roach.
They go, oh my God, John Waters, I love Pink Flamingo. And it's like, what? That's what?
You put that... The kid's going to be like, oh, what's Pink Flamingo?
I'm sorry to jump back like 30 seconds, but there was like a crowd shot, like the camera was moving through them. There was one guy who was just like holding up a newspaper, like only just then did he realize, oh, something interesting's happening, I think.
Look, when I hold up a newspaper, I'm fully immersed in the news. I'm not paying attention to the now. Jeez.
The now.
Newspapers. By the time they come out, they're the olds. I mean, jeez.
Extra.
You know what this movie could have done better with?
What?
Instead of Eddie Murphy, could you imagine it's called Meet Jerry and it's Jerry Seinfeld? And he walks around as a robot.
I can't imagine, Jerry Seinfeld having a straight, serious face. He has to be like, everything's under control.
He'll have that face he has when he's thinking about something or just like understanding something.
He would be like this. He would walk up and he goes, "What's the deal with humanity?" Huh? I imagine then like you could have George as Lieutenant Buttocks, and he's like, "I'm not happy with this." Oh, here it is. This is like the worst CGI shot in the movie. Is like him coming out of his own mouth and like look at his jaw and shit. They did the worst job ever.
I like how Dooley scolds Knox for holding up a gun to a tiny person.
Yeah, like how could you? It's like they're fucking aliens. There he is, Eddie Murphy. Hello. This is the point in which I would punch him.
You just go back in the mouth, wouldn't he? Like,
no, you'd punch him and he would fall out. Like if you punch him in his like jaw, he would just fall off the tongue. Eddie Murphy does that a lot. He falls off a lot of tongues. Do you remember how Eddie Murphy had like his big incident of having like a prostitute? Remember that?
I remember
and
that.
He got in lots of trouble for it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's still a thing.
really?
We don't forget Eddie. We don't forget your prostitutes with your open mouth, little Eddie waiting there.
Sorry, I just started laughing because I remembered that there's like one conflict that is introduced like right after this bit.
Which is what?
Don't you remember? The freaking FBI just comes in all
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, it's not unexpected
explained
because
one bit.
No, it is.
No, well, I'm not
No,
saying
it is.
I'm not saying that it's not unexplained, but it's just like this film's like wrapping up here, and then all of a sudden
Yeah.
FBI comes in really
No,
serious.
but it
and then they
makes
just...
sense because
I know it makes sense, but it's so funny because it's such a mood
You're
whiplash.
wrong, Rhys. It makes sense because the cop said, "I phoned Homeland Security, I phoned the FBI, and I phoned the CIA."
Yeah, I know it makes sense, but
I
it's,
know you
It's
know,
just like
but
they
Rhys,
haven't called. They've just called Homeland Security. They just mentioned it once. They could have used at least one more little.
this
line.
is enough, Rhys. It's
I'm
like an
not.
80. It's like
I'm saying it's funny because of the emotional
it's a
aspect of this scene.
90-minute movie. Okay, here is this incoming shot. It's just like, okay, so he's grabbing him. It's like one of the worst shots of the movie. Okay, so he puts him on the tongue. Like, this is where they ran out of budget. Okay, so he's here, and his head is blood. He blurred his head and tried to cover it up by putting a shadow effect over, but it just didn't work.
It was a pixel.
And I like how, look, I believe that, weirdly enough, I don't get what the effect is, but I think it's their uniforms. I believe that number 1 and number 2 are actually on the tongue, but when I look at Kevin's...
Number 3.
No, number 3, sorry. No, she's number 2 now.
Oh.
She got promoted, remember? Because number 2's been disbanded. Number 1 and number 3 are on the tongue, but I don't... Look at Kevin Hart in the background. I don't believe that Kevin Hart's actually there. I believe
see
he's
his
on a
teeth.
green screen because his outfit is so ludicrous. It doesn't match, like, the green screen well. It's so weird to see his mouth move after having it open like that for so long. I liked how he's completely expressionless as he launches. Like, I like that effect. Like, you could have had it lame and he waves and shit, but, like...
Suddenly FBI.
Suddenly FBI.
Suddenly FBI, CIA... It's not that sudden.
I know, but it was funny.
And I liked how his body just falls like a salmon. Like, just like... This reminded me a lot of Big Hero 6. And I think Big Hero 6 got inspired by this.
It might have.
It inspired me of... It also reminded me... This is a Fox Studio production of Silver Surfer. Fantastic Four.
It is?
It reminded me of it.
Oh, okay.
This isn't Silver Surfer Fantastic
Oh.
Four. This is in fact Meet Dave. Don't worry, listeners. This is Meet Dave. We're still watching Meet Dave. We didn't switch over to Fantastic Four Silver Surfer. How come no one shoots that down?
Maybe they're like stormtroopers and they know they can't shoot it.
Because it's just a shoe, Ryan.
Try
Why would you
acting.
shoot a shoe?
Try acting, kid. Mom, look! That's like Bartek's Orson Welles impersonation. I mean, Jesus Christ.
This try acting thing you say, Ryan, can I just ask a question?
Yeah, go on.
Is it after Laurence Olivier said it to Dustin Hoffman?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's a classic story. Look, you don't see number 2 anywhere.
There is no number 2 anymore.
He's in Left in the Butt.
Must have.
He's holding the camera.
So he's going to be horribly tortured and brutally dissected.
Was it shown in the deleted scenes, Bartek, that he was still stuck?
I don't know.
Bartek, you're usually on top of this shit. Any other trivia facts you want to give me?
Well, I mentioned earlier that... Oh, I'm just repeating here, but on Nil, they kill people who show emotion, so these guys are, like, going to their death right now. Apparently.
Brilliant. Oh, Kevin Hart is like, I'm an actor! Everyone's like, yeah.
Kevin Hart's pretty prominent in this credits montage.
I'm prominent.
Because, he was really important in the movie.
I'm prominent.
Yeah, you're on...
Spit and Polish 2016.
Ryan, did you know that you've actually been in every episode?
I have, and you haven't.
Well, yeah, though I was stunt doubled at one point.
Yeah,
well.
by me. Cue the new anthem, and it's like some song.
It's Earth, Wind and Fire, isn't it?
I don't care.
Oh.
Okay, so the film is ending. It decided it needed a dance sequence. So look, number 3 is cultural officer. Number 2 is in command. Security officer's number 4, but then they just give up.
Number
81's female crew.
Adam Tomei. I wonder if he's like related to Marissa Tomei.
Maybe.
Yeah, and that's funny because we were talking about Seinfeld before, and she's in it as George's love interest, and she's playing herself. Apple Store guy. Okay, so there's lots of people that are in this movie. This movie was an experience.
Naked Cowboy was played by Naked Cowboy?
Oh, don't you know about Naked Cowboy? He's a street performer in New York, so he's in that Times Square sequence.
Yeah.
He's a cowboy who is really fit, muscular, and he plays guitar. And he wears a cowboy hat and underwear and shoes and socks, and that's it. And he just does a variety of songs, and he's been doing it for like 10, 15 years.
Oh, I never knew that.
Yeah, he's really cool, and he also does like stand-up comedy. I'm pretty sure he does lots of interesting stuff. So, yeah, so they had to credit him because he was very prominent. Like you saw his face and everything.
Okay.
So.
We should see him when I go to New York.
Yeah, you gonna go? You gonna meet
Well,
Dave?
Rhys is gonna be a world famous.
Okay, look at this. This is where you could tell Eddie Murphy is no longer acting. He's just like, okay, you told me to dance. I'm not gonna pretend to be the captain dancing. I'm just gonna dance. Like, I'm just gonna dance. And the chick's like that too, and you know it's like that. This guy's still acting. He's like, yeah, my character's gay. I'm gonna dance.
I'm just
gay.
gonna keep dancing.
Kevin Hart's still acting because he's like, I'm Kevin Hart. I've got a character I like to play. Look, this is clearly Eddie Murphy, and that's clearly her losing her shit. And Eddie Murphy's like, all right, where's my check? Okay, so that was me. That was me, Dave, everyone.
That was me, Dave.
And that was the first podcast of the year. Woo! Okay, so this is the part in which we do our reviews and we listen to reviews from other people. Now, Rhys, I'd like to hear what you have to say, Rhys, and what brilliant pieces of thought you have on the matter, and what rating you would give this wonderful film.
All right. So upon seeing it for the second time in a long time, actually, I've come to the fact that it is actually quite an alright film. It has a good structure, let's just say. It has a good premise. It hasn't really been looked into that much, you know, small aliens controlling a bigger alien into an Earth. And then, basically, it works. On the bottom end, it works. I mean, Eddie Murphy's performance is there. Ed Helms has an over-the-top performance, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
And there are flaws, because it does take some gags that are too easy. Like, maybe, for instance, the fart jokes are too easy to make. Maybe they could have gone a bit deeper into the film.
Were there that many fart jokes?
Well, the sort of like the buttocks jokes, he makes a couple of easy jokes there. I mean, sure
there's the shitting money joke.
Yeah, the shitting money.
That's
joke.
a great joke. Don't get. Keep going.
And it sometimes it just gets the better of the premise, but you know what? It still works. And I think a lot of people took this film too seriously. You know, just a lot of people jumped on the bandwagons of, oh, Eddie Murphy's not as good as he was back in the day. So, you know, just give the film a break. Just look at it and just relax. Watch it. Don't do it.
When you want to come to
Oh
it.
my god, no.
If you had to give it a rating out of whatever you choose.
That's a hard thing to do.
You don't even have to use numbers, Rhys. You can get creative with your rating.
Yeah. Get creative. Like the movie did.
That's even harder.
Like the movie got creative.
Okay, the movie got creative, but
Yeah,
I'll give it a number rating just to be fair.
Okay.
Out of a score of 5,
Yep.
I would give it a 2.5.
Ooh. Middle of the road.
Yes.
Ooh. Harsh. Bartek, it's been so long since we've got to hear your opinions of a movie in such vivid details as
like
your
3 or
reviews.
4 weeks.
3-4 weeks? Hit us, Bartek.
Okay, so this movie, Move Me Daivu, I found that really funny. This movie is a very humble movie, I reckon.
Yeah.
Like, I agree with you there, like, when you mentioned that this isn't a dick measuring contest with other movies we watch. Every episode we kind of say, this is the best movie ever, this is the best movie ever done, but, like...
Because they are.
Yeah, and it kind of creates a paradox, like, what if we compare them? And, yeah, it is unfair, because Big Fat Liar really is a fantastic movie, and...
But then so's Thunderpants.
Then so's
Kangaroo
So is
Jack.
Thunderpants,
And, you know, so's Spend It Like Beckham. And we go on.
And in a lot of those movies, we talked really extensively about how it shaped so many other films, like, you know, Citizen Kane and all those other movies. Sorry,
Schindler's List.
Schindler's List. We've done so many episodes, I can't even remember all the movies we have mentioned it influenced. And this one,
Saving Private Ryan. Yeah.
Saving Private Ryan, and this one, you know, it's the latest movie of the bunch. It hasn't really had that many movies to influence, so I feel kind of awkward, you know, saying that, but it did well, like what Rhys said. It did alright, and I think it can be really appreciated for just being good.
Yeah, for being safe.
It doesn't have to be, you know, put up in the gold and platinum part of the museum, the Hall of Fame. But it should be appreciated.
Yes.
It definitely should. And it is a sin that so many people would defile its rating almost on the internet and in real life.
So if you had to give it a rating?
If I had to give it a rating, I would have to give it a give me a what out of a hoo-yah.
Was that a reference in the film?
No.
Oh.
Okay, I just thought like... Okay. Here's what I have to say about Meet Dave. I have vivid memories of renting it from Video Easy. I have vivid memories of its advertisement. It was an Eddie Murphy film that was advertised, but I wouldn't say heavily. I would say it was one that's like, oh yeah, there's Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, it definitely went under my radar.
It went under the radar, but it's one that you're like, oh, you know it's there. And I think that it is the quintessential unappreciated masterpiece because it is one that you know the existence. It's not so underground. It's not so hidden. It's got prominent stars by a prominent director and acclaimed, screen presences by, like with people like Eddie Murphy and Ed Helms and so on, and Elizabeth Banks. And it takes the genre of sci-fi and comedy and blends them into one seamless genre of sci-fi comedy. And it really does touch at the old school vaudevillian kind of stuff. It's that, what if Buster Keaton was this actor instead of Eddie Murphy? And I talked before, like, I liked my old school Eddie Murphy. I don't like Eddie Murphy as much in physical comedy stuff, but when he does physical comedy, he shines. And this is a movie where he shines and shines and shines. His facial expressions, his repetitions of dialogue, everything he does is quintessential perfect. I think he was misjudged to get an Oscar nomination for Dreamgirls. He should have got one for this because he managed to play the captain and Dave Ming Chang so well that they are different characters. They play the same actor, and there's that thing of Dave Ming Chang has to have the personality matrix of the captain because the captain's the one driving him, but you tell that they are two separate beings. Eddie Murphy knows how to play multiple roles. That's a part of the Eddie Murphy magic. When we talk about Coming to America, he plays multiple roles in that film. And those are some of the best roles of Eddie Murphy. Like, I love Eddie Murphy's multiple characters in Nutty Professor and all of these films, in Norbit and this movie. He's only playing two characters in this movie, which is a bit of a tamer multiple role for him, but he nails it. If I had to give this film a rating, I would have to give it number 2 out of Vaporize the Child! That's just my personal rating system for this particular episode, if you wanted to know. But we have other people's thoughts and other reviews. I go through IMDb and find reviews, some of which are negative, some of which are positive. This week I've gone for the more positive ones because surprisingly enough, out of the 12 pages or more of IMDb, about 90% of them were positive reviews, and the ones that were negative ones were too short to actually give any hearing to. Like, they were too short or not strong enough. So this week it is mainly positives here. There may be a snide comment here or there, but it is positive time because people liked Meet Dave. So we're going to start...
That's really good.
We're going to start with one that came out in 2008, this review. So it came out when this came out. And oddly enough, a lot of these reviews were reviews from the time, but I tried desperately hard to get some that were from later on, because sometimes when you see a movie when it's fresh, it feels like it's the best movie ever. That could be argued for Star Wars right now, and who knows, maybe in like 4 years' time, we realize it's not as good. But
it's like the Holocaust. Really long time after it comes out, you can reflect on it more.
Yeah, exactly, like the Holocaust. We can say that because we're Polish. Okay, so this reviewer's title for this one is Wonderful Feel-Good Movie, no matter what anyone else says.
Oh, good on you, buddy.
Good.
This is what they had to say. They gave this a 10 stars. It is rare for me to feel so strongly about something that I actually register on a website just to add my own comment to it. Well, this is just what I just did here on IMDb. Because, and I like they put like 5 dots after this, so you have to do a pause. Because this movie rocks. I'm looking at the ratings breakdown, and almost half of the votes are 1 out of 10, while the other half is evenly spread out ratings from 2 to 10. Is it just me, or does someone want to bring this gem of a movie down? I agree. I agree completely with this. I asked this question with a lot of these movies. Eddie Murphy is awesome as both Dave, the ship, and its captain. And the supporting cast is brilliant. I smiled throughout the movie and had some real laughs. The plot is tight, with no real holes I can make out. And whoever it was that said the whole premise is silly and laughable is forgetting one important thing about these kinds of movies. They're fantasy entertainment. And on that basis, Meet Dave works. Humor, warmth, a friendship/self-confidence message, faith in the good in humans, it's all there and wonderfully done. Of course, the plot is more than unlikely, but that's the beauty of movies in general. They can take you to an imaginary world and let you be amazed at the what-ifs. It's such a shame that most people aren't even going to bother seeing this one once they glance at the IMDb rating. As for me, I can't wait for the DVD release. It rocks from the first minute to the last. Welcome back, Eddie Murphy. And then a smiley face. 10 out of 10.
That was a beautiful review.
That was quite warming.
This next one is a 8 out of 10.
Oh, wow.
This person also did it in 2008. And this is what they had to say. This person wrote from the United States. And their title is Funny. That's it. I didn't expect much from this movie, but it had me and my 18-year-old son laughing almost every minute. That doesn't happen too often. Thanks, Eddie!
Is that the end of the review?
No.
Oh, that'd be a fantastic ending.
Sorry. I just said, as soon as, thanks, Eddie, and I'm like, he seems genuine about this. Okay. Oops. I see I need a minimum...
He's doing that thing?
Oops. I see I need a minimum of 10 lines. Okay. Gabrielle Union was gorgeous. The guy from 30 Rock who always wears glasses and the baseball caps with goofy slogans on them was in it. That's a comment, was in it. Ed Helms was really funny as the mutineering second in command. Murphy's stint as the substitute teacher was hilarious. In brackets, watching him speed write the math equation on the chalkboard. In brackets. He did the best Nathan's hot dog eating performance ever. Are we up to 10 lines yet? No need to go on. It was a funny movie that deserves higher rating than it's gotten. Which is why I wanted to post a short review. Enough words yet? Did I mention Gabrielle Union was gorgeous? 8 out of 10 stars.
We've read shorter reviews, so did they abolish that rule?
I don't know. I guess this person just thought so. Okay, another review from 2008. This one is 8 stars also, called Better Than Advertised.
Oh, okay.
This one does have a warning. This review may contain spoilers.
Oh my god.
So in case
we
you're
never
worried,
have spoilers on this show.
in case you're worried, the trailers don't do this movie any justice. I saw Hellboy 2, Journey to the Center of the Earth, and Meet Dave. And believe me, Dave was the best of the three. This movie would have fared better if it was released in February, March, or October without the heavy competition from the other blockbusters. The movie's sight gags were good, some of course a little silly, but others were just plain funny. The audience I saw it with thoroughly enjoyed the movie, and there was plenty of laughter throughout the movie. Mini Eddie was much looser than Spaceship Eddie. Please tell your friends to go see this before it is snatched from theaters.
You gotta be loose.
8 out of 10.
Okay.
Okay, this one's from 2010.
Ooh.
This is sometimes funny, sometimes boring. 7 out of 10 stars.
Oh, that's a big difference from
Yeah.
7 and 8 to...
I don't know why I've lost interest in Eddie Murphy movies. Since Dr. Dolittle 2, The Haunted Mansion, and of course, the deplorable Norbit.
Oh, now come on.
Reset! Stand back,
Okay, shush. And of course, the deplorable Norbit. He has only been making movies that don't deserve more than a 7. Anyway, I can't deny that Meet Dave made me laugh a couple of times, but for tell the truth, I love that.
What?
But for tell the truth, I can't. For tell the truth, I think everybody know what. I love this. I love dialogue. I love how people write grammar on here. So let's just go back. Meet Dave made me laugh a couple of times, but for tell the truth, I think everybody knows that Eddie is very far of make the best comedy movie. People need more intelligent comedy movies like Jim Carrey's movies, Adam Sandler's movies, Rob Schneider's movies. Oh, Jesus. Do you remember that movie called Showtime with Robert De Niro and Eddie? What was it? A comedy? An action film? A failed try to make a few people laugh? I just say that Mr. Murphy should think about stop making movies that are almost like they wrote almost but with a U in it, so I'm gonna say it almost specifically directed to childs. He needs to loosen the fear of be more rude. That was written from someone in Mexico, so making fun of their broken English, guys, is very rude.
No, I was laughing at the fact that he called him Mr. Murphy, because I had a teacher named Mr. Murphy who Rhys does a good impression of.
This is the last one. Oh, Jesus. There was one that I had as a contender, but it was you look on IMDb and there's it took up over half the page.
Oh, Jesus.
And I looked at it, but if I were to give a quick shout out to that one, it's basically someone who says, I like sci-fi movies, and he just goes on about how much he loves campy sci-fis. You should check it out. I think it's on page 2 or 3 of these, but I couldn't fit him in because it would have been 10, 20 minutes long of reading it.
Jesus.
Okay.
Wow.
This one's called Awesome. They give it 10 out of 10, and they're from Norway. This is the most recent review I could find. 2014, December 27th. So they just had Christmas. They probably got this for Christmas. Let's just keep that in mind.
Okay.
This is the most hilarious movie I have ever seen, especially the fighting between the two cops. Also, it is very educational since we see clear signs of homosexuality in number 4. Okay. Okay.
Clear signs?
Clear signs. I like how it's educational. It's also very educational since we see clear signs of homosexuality in number 4. Which teaches kids about... Oh, Jesus.
What?
Which teaches kids about gay rights and equality.
Oh, yes, it does. Of course it does.
So I can definitely say that this is a great movie. Great humor and overall awesomeness. Also, great anti-bullying message in the beginning of the film. This movie contains hilarious scenes, sci-fi action and entertainment, and educational messages to kids. And then this is in all caps. It is the most awesome science fiction comedy I have ever seen. I can only compliment it to the skies. This movie is also very realistic as it takes place in NYC. And we see cool reactions to Spaceship Dave's weird actions and the nice tolerance Dave receives from Gina and Josh. And it is also nice to see that the captain suddenly becomes friends with Dooley. What?
Wait, what?
Okay. I don't know if they're going back to...
Do they mean Kevin Hart?
No, I think...
The cop.
I think they're talking about the cops, they become friends.
But they don't.
I don't know. And it is not seen that the captain suddenly becomes friends with Dooley. How adorable is that? Not to mention when Dooley gives back the crew member in his pocket, in his pocket, and acts like, I think this is yours? How awesomely cute is that? And then this... Okay, in all caps, each word has a full stop after it, so I have to read it.
Oh,
I friggin' love this movie! Go watch it. 10 out of 10.
Wow. Yeah, the scenes where the captain and Dooley were becoming friends were, really great.
Any final thoughts on this, guys?
I think the last review was probably the best out of the 4 you read.
Yeah,
this guy really enjoyed the movie.
I like how it taught you homosexuality.
Gay rights.
Gay rights. Yeah, clear signs.
You have the right to dance in a club.
And be fabulous.
So, it's been wonderful to be back here, isn't it, Bartek?
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely
Spin
trying
polish. We're back in black. We're not wearing black today. It's too hot.
Rhys is wearing black.
I am wearing black. I'm wearing a Star Wars t-shirt, in fact. It says, join the dark side.
So that's a reference, of course, to Meet Dave.
Wasn't there actually a movie called Dave? And it was about a guy who wanted to be, like, president?
Yeah, that is actually quite a good film.
Is that
Kevin Kline?
Yeah, Kevin Kline, where it's like, it's
He's
like
a
he
doppelganger.
looks like the president, and then like he's the president's like body double, and then the president, like, doesn't he have like a heart attack or
He has
something?
like a stroke and then he has to take the place of the president.
Yeah, then he has to take the place. He has no idea what he's doing.
Yes.
And he's married to Sigourney Weaver.
Yes.
And
a very
she's-
grumpy Sigourney Weaver.
So Sigourney Weaver. Yeah, so that is a good movie. We're not going to do that one ever. If we had to do a Kevin Kline movie, let's do the sequel to A Fish Called Wanda.
There was a sequel?
Fiery
Yeah.
Creatures or something.
Yeah. There's a sequel, unofficial sequel. Like, none of them the same characters, but they're all the same actors in it again, doing a very similar plot line.
He does an Australian accent.
Kevin Kline won an Oscar for A Fish Called Wanda. And Eddie Murphy could have won one for this. Any other thoughts, guys? Any other thoughts about me, Dave? Or have we said it all?
Oh, dude, I don't know if there's anything left.
Well, with that being said, it's been wonderful to be back, and I hope 2016 is going to be an awesome time for you guys and as well for us. I hope that in this year, in 2016, us here at Spin Polish will expand what we've got, do more shows, maybe branch out into doing other sorts of podcasting material other than just the unappreciated masterpieces. Spin Polish may hopefully present you other material, and we'll have many other future guests, and hopefully the guests that we have had will come back one day. But yep, not you. And Will, we want Will back. And we here at Spin Polish really, I can at least speak for myself. I'm really glad to be back. I've missed doing this.
I'm very glad to be back too. I've definitely been trying to get back into the swing of this.
Yes.
This episode didn't go as easily as I thought I would.
Oh, well, you made lots of Polish jokes, so it was okay. And yeah, the list of movies is getting bigger, but it would always be much appreciated to hear from you people. You, the audience, you, the listening people. Leave a message on the Facebook page or message us in any other ways that you know that you can. Follow the links. Subscribe to us on iTunes, because we now do have that activated. That is up and running and in full mode, and we are going to strive to give you as much entertainment as we can.
Yeah, and you can talk to us. I mean, we were there for you, in that troubled time when, you had no one else, and
Yeah.
we made you laugh, we talked to you.
We made you cry.
Yeah, well, we'd appreciate, some contact every once in a while.
we miss
Communication.
We miss you. I mean,
we gave you life. We can,
we can take it away. We would like to hear from you, the audience. If you don't want to say, just chuck out a movie suggestion or just say hey. Either way, I've been Ryan.
I've been Bartek.
I'm always Ryan, actually, but this specific instance, I've been Ryan Sliwinski, and you've been Bartek. Don't want to say your last name. I don't know enough Polish.
Bartek Dave.
Alright, we've been on Rhys, of course.
Oh, hello.
You've been here, and
I've
that's
been
been
here.
wonderful.
Vintage Ruin Rhys.
Thank you.
Vintage Ruin Rhys. If you want to check out the band, does that have a page?
It does have a page.
Vintage Ruin.
Yes. Please check it out.
Check out the.
Appreciate
He's got a
it.
music band there, unlike the movie bands. Yes. So that's enough plugs from us. You guys have been great, fantastic, beautiful, wonderful listening people, and we have been Spit and Polish. Thank you.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Goodbye.